It is 11 o'clock, and as Sean mentioned, we'll be back at 2 o'clock for some afternoon trading. But now we got Joseph and Sharif to learn to trade.
Oh, SoFi.
Go get them.
I went to look at DJT before.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to that, or How to Trade, formerly known as that midday show. That's your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. And what will BTC be at the beginning of 2025? I'm just gonna hit 100,000 because I know you want me to do that. I know you're about that life.
You have to. I gotta fill out this poll now too.
Shout out to the OG Darwin. Shout out to JF Trader, the Piper Weasel. Shout out to my main man Adam DeLuce is dancing up a storm. Scott H. I see GSAT, my man. I see it. Shout out to Adara. Ronaldo enjoying the fun with Josie. I wouldn't have fun any other way. Paul Goodson, Derek Thompson, and Vicky Novak. We got Manjinder Mandy as well. Other Zinc and Kalua joining us. Shout out to Yannick. Not Yannick Sweater, but the other Yannick. Eva. Damn. We got Brendan Andrew Chow, the suppliers delivery. What are you supplying, bro? We got Starburst, Fiddleback, the Sankofa Square? I mean, Dundas Square? It's Moko. Nobody from Toronto is gonna. Everybody from outside of Toronto has no idea what we're talking about right now.
No, not it. Yeah, they're changing the name there.
It's been changed, baby.
Has it? Oh, I still call it Dundas.
I know, me and you both. Kyle McGill, we got Anuvu, we got Oliver Casteros, and we got Captain Sisix, whatever. The Evolution Trader, we got Blue Arrow and Angry Bear. We even have Penguin Dynasty. I like all these names. All very creative, Joe. Good morning.
Good morning, brother. How's everything? How was the weekend?
Weekend was good, man. The build out, I don't know if you know, but my family, we're building out a huge new clinic, and it was just unreal work over the weekend, and it's just like a lot of deliveries. So a lot of sleepless nights. How about you?
You know what? We were playing some hockey on the weekend, hitting the gym. My friend, other than that, nothing crazy at all.
It is, baby.
So, yeah, exactly. A nice, cool, relaxed weekend.
Anything you want to yap about before we jump into the lesson?
We're just going to touch on something really quick. Sharif, and we were talking about this last week, and that was AWS, Amazon Web Services. This doesn't have 2024 complete in there, but just look at this steady growth in the revenue here just from Amazon. That's something that you really want to look at here, and through the online stores. It's just consistent growth here. And that's just what you want to see in a company, especially these big mega cap tech stocks, right? So if I were to compare this to Apple's revenues, then you would see a little bit of stagnation there. It's not moving too much, and the growth has definitely started to decline a little bit. We need a little step up in iPhone sales there, I think, in order for us to continue on that trajectory, but AWS is that guy. So that's just what I wanted to look at there, brother, because we were talking about it. So I really like Amazon. That's something that I wish I got into a lot earlier, but I think there's going to be another opportunity. So we're just going to hold on a little bit, and then we'll build some size there, I think.
Fabian, are you talking about the poll? I have no idea what the goal is. Okay, so we're going to look quickly here at SMCI before we start the lesson, because Eva asked nicely, and I'm going to do it. Can we just do it in a second, Raymond, please? Okay, cool. So here is SMCI, and it's breaking out real well right now. So be on the lookout. SMCI is moving. It's green on the day. It's setting up a bull flag right now off the lows of 24. It did breach 24, albeit very briefly, 24.90 LOD. We've been whiffling and waffling right now with that 27 2/3. It's a bit of a flat top with an ascending wedge. Why? Because we're putting in higher lows, and we have that flat top. So this looks awfully ascending wedge, fat top breaky. Okay, that's a good one. Fat top breaky up here, 27.62 HOD, but it's been once, twice.
You know what's coming.
You know what's coming. OB dang thrice at that 2/3 of a dollar. So I like it. Shout out Eva. You got a good look on this bad boy. Look, I think the money fills are at or just a little bit below the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. I personally don't like the flat top break entry, because there's people taking profits at that level, people trying to fight short, so you're going to zig and zag. Who knows how big or how deep, I should say, the drop is once we break that the top, because usually zigs and zags. So I think the money fills personally, to me, 27.20, 27.10. You may not get it. You may or may not, get it. Let me know how it goes. Thank you for pointing this one out. I knew SMCI was moving, but I didn't know it was setting up in this fashion. This is a good look right now. Let's see if that flat top gives way. So I will be putting SMCI on the side chart.
Yeah, I like it too there, brother.
Yes.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, Joe,
Okay,
Joe's liking it too.
Yes,
baby.
it's breaking out right now.
It's already breaking out. There it goes, Joe.
Oh, yeah, we were watching that there.
Oh, baby, that's a beautiful look
beautiful
there.
breakout.
Here it is, guys, in case you're wondering what the hell we're talking about. Guys, screen, please. That 27 2/3 flat top, and there it goes. It's about to break $28 right now. So this is the look right now on SMCI. If you guys want to keep trading that, we have to start the lesson du jour, though. Ooh. All right, we are talking about analyzing price action before earnings, since we are kind of in the midst of earnings season. So predicting these stock price movements can be certainly challenging, but understanding pre-earnings price action can give you that competitive edge going into the earnings report. So let's talk about the pre-earnings price patterns. That's what we're going to discuss right now. Let's talk about these gaps up. We're not going to just specifically only talk about gaps. We'll mention them with other things. So while gap ups can occur for various reasons, a pre-earnings gap up often signals high investor expectations. It's important to consider, though, the magnitude of the gap and the overall market sentiment that's taking place. So a large gap up on low volume can indicate excessive optimism and a potential for post-earnings pullback. So you need to be on the lookout for that. And if I could show the chart. So basically, this is a large gap up, and this removes the pre-market and after-market price action. If you are going to analyze gaps, I said this before, I'm going to say it again, you need to remove the pre-market and after-market price action, otherwise your gap analysis will be screwed. Gaps down as important as well. A pre-earnings gap down can indicate negative sentiment or profit taking ahead of that important earnings reports. Holy, it's so loud. However, it's essential to assess the underlying reasons for the gap. A small gap down on high volume might suggest to you a buying opportunity for those anticipating a positive earnings surprise. And this is kind of what we're looking at when we're looking at gaps down. If you haven't seen what Netflix did in 2022 and Meta did in 22, I'm not going to wax poetic about it. Go and look at the chart. Bullish flags, also really important as well. A bullish flag pattern preceding earnings can be a bullish sign, but it is crucial to consider its timing. A flag that forms in the final weeks before earnings might indicate consolidation before a potential breakout if earnings are positive. And this is kind of the bull flag that we put in on Meta before we made those all-time, on Apple, I should say, before we made all-time highs. The bearish flag, equally as important. A bearish flag before earnings can be a warning sign suggesting potential downside pressure. However, it's important to evaluate the overall market conditions and the strength of the downtrend. And this is kind of the bearish flag we put on CAT before we had that big boy breakdown into that 215 level. But there is also the support and resistance and the importance of such that we have to discuss. So support and resistance levels are crucial for understanding the potential price movements around earnings releases. The dynamic support and resistance, those are what we're going to talk about here. So unlike your traditional support and resistance levels, those around earnings tend to be a bit more dynamic. They can shift rapidly due to increased volatility and market sentiment. There's also that pre-earnings support as well. Look, in this case, you identify recent support levels before the earnings report. A strong hold above this level can indicate bullish sentiment and potential upside if earnings are positive. However, a breakdown below support could signal increased downside risk. And then there's also resistance as a profit-taking level. Resistance levels can act as potential profit-taking areas after a positive earnings surprise. For example, if the stock gaps up significantly, the previous resistance levels might become a new support level. And last but not least, post-earnings support and resistance. Be prepared here for a shift in support and resistance levels after the earnings report. A new trading range might be based on the post-earnings price action. I hope everybody prints up a storm.
There you go. Yeah, great stuff as always. Timing is exactly what we need because we are in the thick of earnings. We just had the big boys report. About 6 out of the 7 Mag 7 started to report and have reported, with the street liking about half of them and then not liking the other half too. So we've seen pops in Google. We've seen pops in, what else did we see pops in there? Amazon and Tesla. And they did not like the Apple, Microsoft, and Meta reports. So those are something to keep an eye out there, guys. We did have some news on Tesla out today, and it's continuing to trade to the top side here, going just about break even on the session. But it did have those China numbers come out, and they also had a little testing on Tesla where apparently it cannot detect deers in the nighttime. So raising some safety concerns there. But again, we're down just about not even 0.1% here on Tesla. I would like to get in on this trend, but we're going to need somewhat of a pullback here, Sharif, before we chase it all the way up here, I think. So we'll wait and see what we can get on Tesla, but I do think that we can continue this trajectory here. So guys, this is something that I wanted to point out, and I was talking about this for the past couple weeks here on Tesla. We have this strong volume. And unfortunately, this pullback was a little bit more deep than what I was anticipating. I would like to see maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 days max on this pullback, and then we get volume to step in here from a daily perspective, and then we go and break this 270 high. I'm not saying that can't happen. I still think that it does, but one thing that is keeping a positive for me is the lower volume on this pullback here. And the days aren't as clean, right? So we have nice, strong, clean candles with the volume backing it, and then we have the pullback with a little bit of weakness. So that's something to keep in mind there. So I do think Tesla can continue to the top side. So we'll look to get involved with that as well too. AMD is trading higher, up about 1.14% on the session. And I'm looking at IBIT as well too, guys, because hey, that's slightly disappointing for me too. It's kind of resembles a little bit of the Tesla chart where we had those strong couple days and then we had some pullback and we held that 70, just below 70,000 level. So I'm looking to see if we can hold 39s on IBIT and maybe break some pre-market levels. But as of right now, Sharif, I think everything's a little bit too extended for me. SMCI was looking pretty good when we had that price compression, and then it breaking with the volume supporting that. So that's something that I'll always keep an eye out on. But AMD is continuing to crawl higher. The overall markets are putting in a half-decent day. We got the Qs up about 0.4% and the SPY about 0.15%. So, I mean, not overly weak. A little bit of a choppy start to the session, but now we're starting to find a direction here, which is really, really good, and I like. So it's just a matter of time here, Sharif, until we get a pullback towards the volume-weighted average price, and then maybe we can start looking at some really precise entries, brother. What are you cooking up there?
Well, we're about 25 pennies in the money right now on SMCI.
That's it,
The reason I took it, Joe, was it dipped into the level that you and I talked about before we did the lesson, was that 2/3 of a dollar level. So I took some out already, 3 outs already, looking for the next outs at 88s over here as we continue to work up possibly into that whole dollar level at 28. So SMCI catching a bit of a bid. But guys, if you're going to trade this one, you know, there's a lot of issues with it, so don't fall in love with the name. It's an intraday trade. I'm not talking about this name at all from a long-term perspective, so keep an eye out on this one. Technically looks good. Anything below that 50 penny area, I'm already out of 2/3 of the position. Sorry, half the position, excuse me. So anything below 50, I'm gonna basically get out of that. Now this DCA here, this was not planned. That one I put in accidentally, actually trying to put it in an order, so we just remove that super quick, the one that was sitting at 40s there. So we'll keep an eye out on SMCI, see if this one wants to break the whole dollar level. Technically, the high of the day that we put in around 11.05, that takes us into the 90 penny level, about 10 pennies from where we're currently trading right now. So we'll pack our patience. Here we go. We've been waiting for 88s. 87s now showing up on the bid. See if we can get that printed. We've been waiting. I'm going to just pack my patience, see if the 88, there it is. So now we're basically, how much do we have left out of this? I believe I have 2 more outs on this one. So we'll pack our patience, see if we can break and take through the whole dollar. We took it out at 88s, right? So yeah, we'll put another one just to front run that whole dollar there. So that's what I'm looking at right now on SMCI. I see you guys yelling though about NVIDIA, and rightfully so, that you should be, because it did a nice little rounded kind of, I don't want to call this a rounded bottom, but it certainly was kind of, you know, it had a bit of a flat top there at 138. There seemed to be resistance at 138, essentially from the bell onwards, and then we kind of took that decisively with a three candle move on the 5 minute through that level. We're still below Friday's high, so we're still ensconced by Friday's price action from the downside and the upside. So it's still technically an inside day. To break through that inside day, I think we're looking, Joe, at 139 3/4 to take out that level. The institutional prints at 8 a.m. came into that level, but, you know, I don't know if you subscribe to the...
I like that pattern a little bit. There's still a little bit of a rounded, at the bottom, but this is just like a pure liquidity grab there, and then you can see that that bottoming tail candle there that we always talk about, and then it continues to the top side. So yeah, that's a good look there, brother.
Good look, man. Yeah. We'll have a look at some other stuff over here. I saw you guys talking about Tesla as well. Tesla has worked in now into that 249-ish area, or was at this candle here at 10 after the hour. Why is that level of importance? Well, that is the closing print from Friday. And if you know me, you know that I chart closing prices. Always, always, always. And so we're putting in a bit of a top right now, but we're still above the 10 exponential, Joe. And it's been a really solid recovery off that 238 touch and bump. And now we're about $10 above that level right now. So good look for Tesla here.
Yeah, that's a good look there, Sharif. Just to touch on what you're saying, previous day's close, as an intraday trader, that is a really important level. So guys, when you're marking your levels off in the morning, so you have the previous close are the previous day's highs, the previous day's lows, and then previous day close. PDC, as they call it, is one of the king of all levels. So always watch out, mark that on mark that level, guys. PDC is very important. And Sharif, I just want to touch on one more thing about SMCI here. So we'll call this an even $50 here from this high here. And then at today's low around 25 bucks, right? So that's a 50% drop there. In order for that stock to recover, it now needs to trade 100% higher, right? So that's just something that you need to keep in mind, and why you don't want to bag hold these types of stocks, right? Because now you need literally double the amount of move that it dropped in order to get to break even. So just cut that trade. You're down 50%, and then to go break even, you need it to go back up 100%. So I mean, that's a tough look on SMCI. I think this is the day where the accountant was like, "I'm out of here. Like we're out of here." So tough look on SMCI. I know they're reporting shortly. They report on the 5th, so tomorrow. So I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on that one there, guys. So we'll keep an eye out. If we can come and hold these levels here, Sharif, that we were talking about earlier, maybe come and test the 2720s, and then maybe I'll look for a continuation to the trend. But overall, this stock is relatively weak, and I think it's going to need a really strong report in order for it to get going again. So guys, so I don't know about that one. I got my eyes over here on IBIT as well too. We're starting to pull in towards the volume weighted average price, so it's exactly where I want to be. So we'll keep that in mind there, guys. If we continue to hold, we did put in a potential top here around 39.10s, 39.11s. So that could be a little alarming, and we did break this pivot here. So if it does break, we could have a potential flat bottom break on this on IBIT and Bitcoin continuing south. So I don't know. I would like this thing to go higher. I'm going to watch it out for around VWAP here. I think I'm going to get in here shortly, Sharif, and then we're going to take it from there. But guys, we'll take a look at some other things. DJT, I know everybody's still going on about with the election just on the horizon. So we'll keep that in mind. And if he wins, who knows what's going to happen to this stock? I think it's going to absolutely skyrocket. The meme craze is going to go crazy. So, I mean, keep an eye out. I don't know, from an investment standpoint, we talked about it's like price to sales. It's just not worth it. Just have fun with it from a memeing standpoint. But from a fundamental standpoint, there's something that you want to keep maybe away from. It's not something that you throw in the long. It's not a Palo Alto that you throw into the long term. I don't think Sharif or Apple or something along those lines, something that the boys have in the long term. So that, I don't know, would you put this in your long term?
No,
exactly.
I really wouldn't, right? Because it's volatile,
right?
And
yeah.
it doesn't make any money.
No,
right? I'm not going to invest in a technical breakout, right?
Right. So exactly.
Yeah.
So you want things to be fundamentally strong, like I was mentioning on Amazon not too long ago there. So yeah, guys, we're gonna see. We might have to actually. You know what? I'm gonna get into a little bit of a short here on IBIT because it might reject just some small size, nothing crazy. Because if we continue the breakdown, then I want to join that because I think we can go test 37, 38. Sorry. But if it breaks back above the volume weighted average price and holds there, then I'm gonna get out of this trade. I'm not gonna hold on to. I'm not gonna beg hold this IBIT. But someone asked us to take a look at Fun. We'll take a look at Funware because I know it has been strong the past couple of days. The volume has since died off a little bit. It's pulled back. We do have this big isolated candle here. After an extreme. So it gave back a majority of its move, which is unfortunate if you've been holding or you got trapped up here around 13s. Again, just back to what I was saying on SMCI, you have a high of 15s. We're now trading at 653. So, yeah, I mean, you need over 100% move in order just to get back to break even. So that's exactly why you don't hold on to those types of positions, though. What are you cooking up there, brother?
I'm in GSAT right now. It did a nice 10 exponential pullback. And I'm going to try this one for a hold off the 10 exponential on GSAT. I'm done with my trade on SMCI. I'll look to reset if this one wants to hold this area that it's whiffling and waffling at now. So I don't want to play SMCI as a range, and that's kind of what it looks to me right now. The whole dollar as the resistance level, 2/3 of a dollar or generally 60 pennies acting as resistance. It's whiffling and waffling in between those two levels. So that's what I'm going to keep my eye out on. I'm also keeping my eye out on ZNTL. It's setting up in the same way that I believe GSAT is setting up, a 10 exponential retracement. I do like the area of support a little bit better on the ZNTL than I do on GSAT. What I'm talking about is this 390 drop that it came into. That was the 10 exponential on the 5 of my chart. But look how close it is to this area crest at 88. So support flips or resistance flips to support in this particular instance, which makes it a bit of a better setup than just getting in for the 10 exponential alone. We'll talk more about that and some other names when we get back from the green screen with Adair.
Time for this segment where we take a look at some of the larger movers here on the S&P 500, the upside and the downside, and talk about their catalysts. If these or any other names are on watch for you, make sure you vote for them in our chat. Exclamation point join, space, $, and your ticker of choice. The top 5 tickers will be gone over during the afternoon rundown by Sean and Neil, with Sharif providing some color commentary here on the green screen. You have until 1:50 p.m. to vote, so make sure you get your vote in. I like to have a theme for these segments. So today's theme is going to be all of these Dow Jones inclusions and exclusions. So what tickers are moving on those really types of stories? First, we have Sherwin-Williams. This one's going to be replacing Dow Inc., so DOW, in the Dow Jones Industrial Average effective Friday morning. So keep an eye on SHW. Next up, we have INTC down about 3%. NVIDIA replacing Intel, which has been in the Dow Jones Industrial Average for 25 years. NVIDIA now kicking out. This last one's a bit interesting. We have VST, which is going to join the Dow Jones Utilities Average. However, it's actually down about 3% on the day. Also weak is Constellation, though Constellation had earnings as well. But these energy names a little bit weaker after the main energy authority in the U.S. has actually rejected this deal that Amazon had struck with regards to Susquehanna's nuclear plant providing additional energy to Amazon's data center. Basically, the reasoning was this deal is the first of its kind. It would maybe set an unnecessary precedent. So keep an eye on VST, not only with this Dow Jones Utilities inclusion, but also this setback with regards to Amazon's energy deal.
Thank you very much, Adair.
Yep, yeah, no, great stuff as always there, Adair. Sharif, we just took a little bit off the top there on IBIT. So let me pull up my Bitcoin trade here. I said I didn't think we were going to break through here, so then in order to do so, I just played the opposite end of that trade there. So guys, I don't expect it to, I mean, well, I shouldn't say that, but if it does continue to break down, then we have a little bit of size in there. And then if not, then maybe it comes back and then we can get that move back through the volume weighted average price that we want to the northeast side there, guys. But also, yeah, Penguin Dynasty, thank you. And Cristobal, thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words. It means a lot. So yeah, guys, we're just going to continue to hold. I think we might even add a little bit here, Sharif, because we didn't put too much size in on this trade, but that's okay because we still have about 95% of the position. But if it is going to continue to the downside, we want to make this a little bit bigger than what it is, my friend. So we'll see if it sets up. We may be setting up a potential 3-bar play here. As you can see, we made the leg down, and then we have a consolidation candle. And then let's see if this holds this level here around 38.85 and can continue down to the southeast there. So we'll see if that continues and that plays out how we want it to. If it doesn't, that's fine. There's definitely a lot of other things that are strong today. AMD is one of them, up about 0.75% on the session, so about 0.75% there. But as of right now, it's looking like IBIT is a little bit weak, and it's going to continue. So Sharif, I think maybe we just add a little bit here because, you know, do we feel a little bit I guess on the broader side today. So there we go, Sharif. We just add a little bit into the position looking for that flop bottom break there, my friend. What do you got going on?
Nimit's asking about ADN, so let's have a look at this one. It's up big. It's up 70% right now, but look what it's done. It's had its kind of moment in the sun going through into that 450. I think high day was in and around that 4. Oh, that was actually the pre-market. That was right before we rang the bell. 455, technically the high of the day is that 4 1/3, $4.32. Look, Nimit had tried to reclaim VWAP. It did its best there right at 10 after the hour, getting it to 390, rejecting, though, that bottom area of consolidation that we had been putting in when we were trying to accumulate to break 4. So support flips to resistance, or at least it looks like here. Look, Nimit, I'm not going to involve myself in this one because it is below VWAP, but if I could say so, there may be a range trade to be had. The bottom end, like where we are right now, 3 2/3, sorry, 3 1/5 right here at 3 1/4 in and around this area. This was the top area in the pre-market, the top end of the, what's it called? The resistance range in the pre-market right around 8 a.m. We got into this level. We couldn't take that level decisively until 45 after the hour, but looks like we are using it as support. Now, that's not my type of trading to take these ones as a range, so I'll steer clear of that. But yeah, there is something for you to, I guess, there, Nimit, if you want to weasel in at that $3.20, $3.20, $3.25, with the idea being that you play the range maybe into 340, and you know, and if you get really lucky, you get a move like this where it reclaims VWAP and moves up into that whole dollar. It's not for me though. I'll pack my patience for something else. Now, GSAT not holding up in the way that I'd like. I mean, only like 2 pennies out of the money, but it did breach technically the 10 exponential moving average, and I'm not in love with how it's setting up. Despite the fact that I do see some bottoming tail candles through the 10 exponential and being bought up, being pushed above the 10, it's not the greatest. The volume is low. It's continuing to put in the lows. It's breaching the 10 technically. The one that I lament not having gotten into was the other one that I was looking at, ZNTL. It does the same thing. It pulls back into the 10 exponential, but look at this. It's already breaching the whole dollar despite resistance there. Well, how come? I mentioned this when I was talking about ZNTL. Look how close the area of initial resistance at 388 is to that area dip that we put in right at 20 after the hour. Well, we dipped into there, Joe, 398. It was 388 over here. So resistance flipped to support, and then you printed about 20 pennies to the high side, moving into 407. Who knows, maybe even more if this bad boy continues to go. So ZNTL, I'll give you the details on this one because it's setting up a little bit better than some of its counterparts. And it is the number 2 scanner, or number 2 gapper on my scanner since the bell has rung. So I always want to make that caveat because the change percentage since open is different than the change percentage since 4 a.m. All right, so this one's up about 24% or thereabouts since the bell rang with very light volume. So this, I don't like the volume on this. 1.5 million shares on a $4 name. It should be doing a bit better. It's got a $285 million market cap with a float of 68.1 million shares. And let's check the short float here, 12.12% of the 63 and change million shares is being borrowed for short. So, you know, a decent short float, not the biggest we've ever seen though. So in GSAT, but eyeing ZNTL. I'm also looking at some other small cap gappers. You guys know how I roll. So Plug Power. I took a trade on this, I think about 2 years ago, a year ago, something like that. Lost $1 a share.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it was at 12 bucks.
Sorry, me and my buddy Greg V have a joke about Plug.
Go.
Yeah, no, it's definitely no, it's not appropriate.
Not
it's not appropriate. Yeah, it's not PG, but.
Is it an innuendo?
Yeah. So you know what I mean? Just to go to the company, yeah.
You guys get it.
Plug, so.
Get it. You guys get it. We'll let that one. Let them sit.
We'll let them base on that. Yeah, based on that one. You can base on that. Yeah.
You're not gonna let them sit on that one, Joe?
No, yeah. Oh my days.
Hey. We're not saying anything. The algorithm can't do nothing.
Nada.
All right. So Plug Power, the reason I'm even looking at this, Joe, it's gapping up. It's up nicely on the day over here. It did do a bit of a dip into the volume weighted average price, a bit of a, I don't know, a hammer candle into that 2 2/3. It ain't for me right now, although that VWAP wick looks good. We'll see if this one wants to set up. Obviously, a seller of note. You don't have to be a chartered market technician to see somebody was selling up a storm at $2.41. This is the 5-minute chart, and we couldn't breach that level despite multiple attempts. And we're also putting in lower volume incrementally. So that might not be the look, just like GSAT might not be the look. So if this one breaks through the 65, we're going to get stopped out for a 6-penny loser on GSAT. I will be interested in setting up again, though, on GSAT at that $1.60. Now, unlike some other people, I don't DCA into my positions. I have to worry about my shutdown. So I will get out of the trade and then reignite the trade should it be warranted at that level. That level I'm speaking about, $1.60, to account for the volume weighted average price. In addition to that, the 930 implied balance high is at $1.60. So you have two things that are pointing to that $1.60 as support. The area crest, at the open, and VWAP. So if it stops me out, it stops me out, but we'll look to get back in at $1.60. Adair is at the big desk, and we got bills to pay.
This part of the show is brought to you by Firefly Neuroscience. Firefly Neuroscience has taken a bold step at advancing brain health technology. In collaboration with Bright Minds Biosciences, Firefly's innovative AI-powered platform has successfully analyzed data from a groundbreaking phase 1 clinical trial using advanced EEG technology to track brain activity. This data unlocks new potential in treating neurological and mental disorders, reinforcing Firefly's position at the forefront of brain health innovation. As they prepare for phase 2, this partnership signals exciting developments for the future of neuropsychiatric treatments. Firefly Neuroscience, shaping the future of brain health.
What do you got, Joe?
Yeah, hey, we're just looking over here at the Qs, Sharif. We're all out of IBIT now. We pulled back, and it came back to my break even, which is totally fine. We added like we said we were going to do, but the break wasn't as clean. So, I mean, I'm happy with the entry. We got that nice and close to the volume weighted average price, VWAP. Then we got that move down, took a little bit off, and then we decided to add a little bit more. And then we just pieced out part of the position. And then once it came back to break even, I'm like, okay, there's no point in me making a winning trade into a losing trade. I don't know if we're going to squeeze. And the volume absolutely stepped up there. So that's something that I was just like, hey, I wouldn't say that it spooked me out. I just stuck to the game plan, right? And I just said, okay, if we continue, if we break this, then we're going to have some size into this position. But if it comes back to break even, that's fine. We already took pieces of the position out already, so that's fine. You got the trade. We took what the market gave us, and then now we're just looking forward. And moving forward, what I'm looking at here now, Sharif, is the Qs. I want to see what the NAS is up to, and I want to see if we can start to recover. I can see AMD is starting to pull back a little bit, so I'm assuming that, I shouldn't assume, but we'll take a look that NVDA might be doing the same thing as well too. So, but no, it's not. It's just consolidating a little bit, putting in some solid range here. So I don't know if it's going to continue to the top side, but we'll wait and see if it holds these levels here around 138.26. and then it forms a little bit of that range between 138.26 and 138.70s, then I think I can confirm that we're trading a little bit. It may just be consolidating a little bit and then head to the northeast side to create another leg higher. So that's one thing that I'm looking out for. But I also like that the Qs are currently holding the volume weighted average price as well too. So I'll look for this to hold. If it breaks below it, then I'll look for it to curl back up towards the top side. But we're gonna do some more analysis on the overall markets right after we get back from Adara.
Keep an eye on BEN. The same actually initially in an uptrend after earnings. They missed on EPS, but they beat on sales pretty significantly. Now down about 4% with increasing volume. The company apparently saying, or the CEO of the company is saying that the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, or the CFTC, is actually investigating its Western Assets trades. If that sounds familiar, it's because this Western Assets trades, or the Western Asset Management section of the company, has been under investigation since August. Its CIO has actually taken a leave of absence because the company has been accused of cherry picking, or basically favoring winning trades to favored accounts. So winning trades getting credited to favored accounts as opposed to other accounts. So the Western Asset Management section of BEN still under scrutiny despite that sales beat this morning, guys. BEN.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Yeah, it's still managing the same positions. It looks like GSAT popped up a little bit back into that 169, but it's not doing, the move right back into that 170 to claim it. So I'm going to just pack my patience with this one. I'm also giving the Future a bit of a try here, but I already got stopped out. We had such tight room on this one. I was looking for a VWAP dip and then a bump back up, and it didn't. So I lost 10 pennies on that triple Q's dip trade at VWAP. It did breach it. The reason I like that triple Q's trade, because it was a couple of reasons, actually. Both levels were pointing at support. So you had the closing print at 20,153 there, and you had VWAP just a little bit below that, but it didn't really matter. So looks like we're gonna bleed a little bit more. Maybe we'll keep an eye out for that 20,100 point area if VWAP gives way. If it doesn't, if it's just a momentary breach of the level and then you reclaim it by putting in a nice candle formation to the upside, then we can reignite the long. Otherwise, no point fighting this. Keeping my eye out next for 20,100, obviously, and then we're going to keep our eye out for 20,000 because we got super close to that 20,000 point level this morning, getting to lucky number 13. 20,013 is technically the low of the day, Joe, on that NQ December contract. So we'll definitely cover that if we make it down there. I don't think we've been below 20,000 in a hot minute, but there's a first time. Well, not a first time, but there's a time for everything. Tesla as well. You saw Sean trade this in the morning. This one worked in right into that closing print on Friday. So that level that we closed out on Friday, $249, and that's essentially where the high of the day is, $248.90. It is doing a bit of a rounded top now, maybe even a bit of a head and shoulders pattern if it pops up a little bit, maybe again above 246, 246 and a half. But right now it does look like it's headed into the volume weighted average price, or at least it seems like to me right now, which is about 244 and a half generally. So Tesla looks strong. Double bottom there off that 238.90 in the morning. Liquidity grab, I think Joe astutely pointed that out. And then we tested the previous, or Friday's closing print, only to reject that level. And now we are clearly working back down with a 5 candle formation pattern, on the 5 minute to the downside. We're looking at 244.50, possibly as support there for TSLA, as the Future decidedly gives a VWAP. What do you got for us, Adara?
Time to go over our earnings segments. What we do around 11:40 every day is take a look at some day one's earnings and names that are reporting tonight or tomorrow morning. So we're going to start off here with Ben. Here, BEN is the ticker. The company is called Franklin Resources. They actually beat here in earnings per share. They missed on earnings per share, but beat on sales. Pretty decent sales beat too, and they missed by about 1 cent per share. So nice early move up in BEN. Then it fell to the downside. We just had its CEO saying that now we have the CFTC investigating its Western Asset Management section for something called cherry picking, in addition to the existing SEC investigation. So Western Asset Management segment of BEN continuing to get hit pretty hard here. It's worth noting Franklin Resources is an 11.6% short. Next up, we have Constellation Energy, which actually, much like BEN, has not only its earnings report, but a news catalyst to watch out for. So down about almost 11% here. They beat across the board for EPS and for sales, but the issue here was its guidance. We know Constellation Energy's been on an uptrend since Microsoft announced its agreement with the company for some nuclear funding. That was back in September 20th to be exact. They raised their EPS guidance from $7.60 to $8.40 to $8 to $8.40, but that was below the consensus estimate of $8.43. So guidance increased, but not quite enough for investors, it looks like. The company also addressed this recent ruling over the weekend on the Amazon data center. Basically, we had energy commissioners saying that Amazon's data center is not going to be able to get additional power from the Susquehanna nuclear center nearby. CEG's CEO is saying that agreement is not the final word. So they're believing there could be some more updates with regards to that Amazon center agreement. As of right now, though, the Federal Energy Commission has put the kibosh on that. In terms of other names on watch, we have to talk about Palantir. They'll be reporting estimated at 4:05 tonight. Analysts are looking for 9 cents per share and $705.1 million in revenue. We also have HIMS. Hims and Hers runs pretty frequently. They have a decent short float. Analysts are looking for 6 cents per share here and $382.09 million in revenue. Tomorrow morning, we have a couple names of watch as well, including Archer Daniels Midland, ADM, and Ferrari, which is actually an ADR here, but keep an eye on RACE. If these are any other tickers that are on your mind, vote for them in our chat. Exclamation point, join space, $sign, and your ticker of choice. You have about 2 hours left here until 1:50 p.m. To do so. At 2 p.m., the top 5 tickers will be gone over by Sean, Neil, and Sharif.
Thank you very much, Daryl. What do you got there?
Great stuff there, Sharif. I seen that you're long some Tesla there. I'm looking to get in some TQs there, my friend, because I think we might start to curl over a little bit. I know we did break VWAP. So I'm just gonna start a position out here, and if we can continue, then I'll add a little bit more, guys. But there's some couple questions in the chat asking me about my options positions. I'm actually currently flat. I have no positions. I had to manage my previous one that I mentioned to you guys before, my AMD, which unfortunately did not work out, but that's totally fine. But coming in the weeks, guys, mind you, we have FOMC on, the interest rate decision on Thursday, and then we have the election looming too. So those are a couple volatility spikes that I may not want to be involved in just yet, especially if I'm going to look to sell some credit and do some credit spreads. I don't want to get caught in that IV crush, so we'll just wait a little bit and see what's going on. But as of right now, the TQs, I just entered long on the TQs, and the market's starting to sell a little bit. I'll pull up my chart. But you know what, guys, I'm going to get out of this real quick, because we had that one trade that worked on IBIT already. So, and I'm really small size here. So if I get out of this now, then that means that I can just get a much better price if it does decide that it wants to turn around, which I think it will. I think it does hold these levels pretty well, and then we can continue for that potential second leg up as well too. So we just gotta wait and see and hold off a little bit. I mean, a lot of things. IBIT is absolutely tanking. Unfortunately, we got stopped out of that one, but I had a feeling that it was going to sell significantly more. It's unfortunate that we couldn't break that 74K level, and it was just absolutely rejected. So there was something fishy about the breakout for me. I'm like, well, if it's going to break, it's going to break with conviction and then make new all-time highs. And it failed. It absolutely failed to do so, which is a little disappointing, but that's part of the game. There's a big seller up there, and he just keeps pushing the price down. So we just got to wait until they're done doing whatever they're doing, and then a new wave of buyers can come in, and then we push that a little bit higher. But unfortunately, we missed out on a really big trade there. We got a piece of it out, but we didn't get the full move that we were looking for, Sharif. We did get that flat bottom break around 38.78 on it, and then from that point, it just continued to move southeast and sell off a little bit here. Is it going to recover? I think it does. It's only a matter of time. But again, it's just a thing where you just got to sit on your hands with this one and just wait. It's going to happen at a time when you probably least expect it to. So just if you're hodling some IBIT or some Bitcoin, then just be sure that hold on to it. Have your stops in place. Have your game plan in place. If it breaks those key levels, then get out of the position, and then you can always re-enter possibly at a better price. Or if it does start to break out, buying the all-time highs, looking for new price discovery as price starts to appreciate is also not a bad play as well too, guys. But we had the momentum pick up in the selling and the overall market, so that's a little bit alarming. So looking for longs, we're gonna have to wait and see, because I'll pull up the Qs chart, and you can see as we're starting to decline, the volume is starting to advance a little bit too. So we'll have to wait and see if it slows down a little bit, and then we're gonna need buyers to step back in and re-engage to push this a little bit higher, and then maybe test the high a day. Brother, what are you cooking up over there?
Just in Tesla, I scalped out my first position out for a nice little winner. Now I got scalped out for the rest, so I'm trying for the VWAP dip bounce over here. Where are we long, Joe? We're long at 87, so we're already 10 pennies out of the money. I'm going to have to give this to VWAP. I know the market is bleeding, but I want to see if Tesla at least will give me a VWAP dip bounce over here, but it's already dropping quite aggressively. Yeah, so we got stopped out super quick there. Lots of volatility in these Mag 7 today. So we give back the win there on Tesla super quickly as we made it, quickly as we gave it back. So gonna look to actually get in at the volume weighted average price, which is I think like at 30s. But I think that the prudent thing to do here, then I just gave back everything, is to wait for it to actually set up. Now it does look like everything is bleeding over here, so it looks like we are gonna give back that 20,100 point area because we're below it right now on the NQ. And the reason I'm looking at the NQ in Tesla is because they're Mag 7s and there's a lot of overlap between them. So we're giving up the ghost on the future. Right now we're about 12 points below that 100-point level. But when you make that same comparison with Tesla, it's not really giving up that level as aggressively, especially that volume weighted average price level, or not yet, that is, of course. So that could change. It's still trying to hold that VWAP over here, so I'm just going to give it another try. Where are we at? So we'll wait up here. I just don't want to get cut up trying to time this market. Here we go. 66 is showing up, yeah. So we're just going to have to pack our patience. Otherwise, we'll have to get stopped out below the $0.25. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to try to take Tesla long for maybe 20,100 point defend. We'll see what comes from this, Joe. Lots of other things making the low day right now. You've got the likes of Microsoft on the way down. You've got the likes of Meta on the way down. Apple just gave VWAP. Amazon is bleeding. Likewise with goggles. So there's a lot of weakness right now. The only thing that I'm really seeing above the volume weighted average price is Tesla and NVIDIA. Tesla at VWAP, NVIDIA still about 30 pennies or so, give or take, above that level. So the bleeding hasn't stopped yet. We're gonna have to keep a watch on this. Otherwise, I could find myself in some trouble. But we're only like 5 pennies out of the money right now, not even on the Cybertruck. But there is a bit of a seller, Joe, in the mid-60s now that we've ascended into that level again. It looks like as if they're at 66s or 67s, keeping this bad boy down. We've been waiting at 69s. We'll see if we get that print now. Well, now we got it. All right, fine, great. Celebrate there. Let's see, we can get something at possibly 82s because we're waiting over there. Popping into the high 70s, 82 prints. Let's see if we can get that. Showed up on the bid, didn't cross on the ask though, and so that's kind of the issue with the spread. It's going to have to cross on both sides for you to get printed. So we're going to pack our patience, see if Tesla wants to continue to ascend. It looks like it is now, Joe. So we'll pack our patience up in this area. I'm going to set it the whole dollar now. Where are we long? We're 53s. But, you know, 50 pennies in the money on Tesla is being like 2 pennies in the money on a small cap gapper. It'll drop quicker than you can even blink. So be ready with some outs or some hockeys or do whatever the hell you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Playing your outs like I'm just about to plan an out too. I was looking to get long with Sharif there on the Qs, but I said I'm going to give myself the break of this, the low here. If we don't start to curl around, then I just have to wait a little bit more. And unfortunately, we did break it, but we're going to hold a little bit more steady. If we get it open below this, then I think we're definitely going to have to get out of that trade. So someone in the chat also asked, do we use Questrade? No, I don't use Questrade. I've never used Questrade. I know next to nothing about that platform. So guys, yeah, we'll see what this market's doing. Bitcoin is still continuing to tank here, and it's moving with some serious momentum to the downside, down about 2.2% now on the session is IBIT. And then now AMD has given up the majority of its daily gains as well, too, only up about 0.17%, so about 0.2% there. And yeah, guys, yeah, there we are. Sharif, I have to get out of this IBIT, unfortunately. I mean, sorry, this TQs, unfortunately, because it's just continuing to make new lows. So I'm not going to try and chase this thing until it turns around. I'm going to have to see a rounded bottom as we referred to, and price start to move in the direction that I want to see it. So I'm not going to try to catch the falling knife on this one here, guys. I'll give it one more entry. It is starting to, it seems like it wants to curl over a little bit because we were selling pretty heavily, and it's only a matter of time, I think, until it turns back around. But it looks like the SPY is a little weaker than the Qs here, down 0.37% on the day, so about 0.4% there on the session. I haven't looked at the sector ETFs to see what's going on, what's strong and what's not. But if just from looking at what Sharif and I have been taking a gaze at with Tesla and AMD and NVDA, that we're kind of weak here, guys. Amazon is selling a little bit as well too. I was looking for 200 on Amazon. Yeah, see, now we're down about 1.5% on the session with Amazon. It did decide to break. It wanted to break these pre-market low levels. I'll pull it up here. We broke some pre-market lows here, which was, again, I would anticipate some more downside to that one. We'll take a look at the 5-minute range here. Let me get rid of this dark pool for you guys real quick. There we go. And then we'll talk about the 5-minute opening range that I was particularly looking to play. That's not fun. If we can go to Sharif's chart real quick while I manage what's going on.
Yeah, I'm still trying to hold this at VWAP. It's really testing that $0.50 level. Guys, I was just about to print at the whole dollar, and then in, I think, 2 seconds, I was break even on this name. So you go from 50 pennies in the money to break even in as quick as you like. I'm still waiting for something in and around the whole dollar. There does seem to be a bit of a seller in the low 90s, but the reason I think Tesla is continuing to really whiffle and waffle at VWAP rather than making a decision as to what it wants to do is we're continuing to put newer lows on the future. The future continues to bleed down. We're really getting blood right now in a bunch of names. You're getting blood in Meta, you're getting blood in Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Google. They're all bleeding, and they're all bleeding aggressively. It is the only Tesla right now that is showing me a green candle. Even NVIDIA has a red candle, and I don't think we're going to hang out in this one for much longer. Good there. That was like the best out that I've had on the day, taking it out, break even there. So yeah, not the trade we wanted, but maybe now we need to start looking short rather than trying to fight the longs. Or I can just stop trading the Mag 7 altogether and set up on something a bit different. Speaking of something a bit different, GSAT. So interesting look here. So we've been involved in this one for a while. I haven't taken any profits yet. It seems to have found its footing at that $1.65. Not that I had that level earmarked or anything like that. It is kind of doing this sideways consolidative dance. Let's see if it's able to print anything above 71s. 71s has been the local resistance. Funny enough, 71s is exactly where we're in. So GSAT wants to curl back up and test that 80s. And right now it's showing me a couple of green candles here on the 5 that have me a little optimistic. But I don't want to be too optimistic over here and then put on the what's it called when you put on like optimistic goggles, like, you know what I mean? See things from like a good light and then forego everything else. You know what I'm saying though? Yeah, so I don't want to be blind to some of the drawbacks of being in this name. I'll keep my eye on this one. I won't be DCAing at all into GSAT. It hasn't set up in the way that I want. And then look at this. It works its way into 71 that it's met with a wall of selling. So it looks as if maybe the small cap gappers aren't going to do it either today. I'm just looking at my chart to see if there's anything anew, anything de novo making its way onto the scene, something that hasn't exhausted all its trading volume in the or the pre-market. I'm seeing VRNA. Verona Pharma. So this one kind of directional right now, not the biggest volume mover on the day. It's only got about 1.12 million shares, but a very directional stock and highly respectful of the 10 exponential. A bit more on the pricey side, obviously 38 some odd dollars, a bit more than what we typically pay up for these small cap gappers. Closed out at 35 on the day, at 38. So a good directional move, something off the 10 exponential to me seems warranted at this time. But I really need to tell you that just by looking at how it's trading right now, not even having looked at the level 2 or the time in sales, I can tell you that it's spready 10, 6, maybe 12 penny spread is what I've seen, it jumping in between two. So you got to be worried about that. Viking Therapeutics as well is moving today. I don't know if this is moving in sympathy with it because I don't see any headline for Verona Pharma, nor do I see any from last week as well. Oh, correction. Here it is. Verona Pharma reports results for the quarter ending September 30th, earnings summary. So it looks like they reported, looks like the market heard what liked what they heard. 9.25 right now on this name. It's a little light on volume for me to give it one of the coveted spots on the side chart. So it's going to have to prove itself a little bit more over here. VRNA, but very directional. If you're into that kind of spready, small cap gapper situation, have at it, baby. But that ain't my love. That ain't my look. And I don't want it. Darius Golden, Shallow Hal glasses. What?
Shallow Hal.
I remember Shallow Hal.
Yeah.
That wasn't that, what's his name? Jack Black?
Jack Black.
Yeah, he was like, I know, right? Shallow Hal glasses. What stock are you talking about?
Well, no, I think he was referring to
GSAT?
No, when you were like, what is it? You don't want to have a false perception of
yes, that
confidence,
makes
right?
absolute sense.
So Shallow Hal glasses.
Use that. I'm gonna start using that.
The shallow Hal.
Shout out to Darius. That's actually a good one.
And speaking, because
Finabachi glasses.
the Finabachi glasses.
Darwin.
Darius, since Sharif just mentioned your name in the chat, you have a question for me. I do try to keep it straight with you, my friend. You're talking about some 140 for DTE AMD puts. We'll touch on that real quick. Amazon is just absolutely tanking, which is unfortunate. But we'll touch on AMD for you here, Darius. Again, those puts, it sounds like you bought them out the money, so you have a couple of days until they expire. I don't know what you paid for them, but if you paid a little bit extra for them and you need this move south of 140, you may be in a little bit of trouble. Not saying that it can't happen, but now you need a larger move to become profitable in that standpoint because you bought these out the money, so they were just extrinsically valuable. They only had time valuable. They had no intrinsic value, right? They weren't in the money. The moneyness was out the money. I think this thing has been absolutely lackluster. It's really disappointed me on that front. Can it happen in 4 days? Absolutely, but you also need to take in consideration what you paid for the contract and how much time value has been chewed up since you've purchased them, which can hinder your profits a little bit there. So just keep in mind, if you bought them for a lot and you need an extensive move in order for you to be profitable down to 130, time is ticking and it's running out on 4 days to expiry. But we do have this big candle here on the with volume, and it has sold. It's put down 4 consecutive red days. It failed to enter the a gap that I was looking to play, but I had to exit the position because I took a bigger loss than what I wanted on it. Even though I did hedge the position, which is unfortunate, but it's part of the game. But AMD 140, Darius, you're going to need that to move a little bit more for you there, my friend, within the next couple of days. I'm not saying it won't happen, but as time is ticking, that's the thing about options. You are on a time constraint there. So, yeah, and thanks, Adam. I take pride in the risk management. And falling knife, yeah, Jay Lee, I mentioned that previously before. That's why I didn't go too heavy size on the TQs. I took literally a fraction of a size that I would usually take on that because it was falling and it didn't look like it was ready to turn around just yet. We're going to see what the Qs do here momentarily. I'm going to pull that up right now for you guys because what I'm seeing on my side chart here is something that can interest me, especially on the 5-minute. If we get this indecision candle here at this extreme low, then I'll look to play it from there. So if we can continue to hold this, which I'm probably going to get into it shortly, and I just want to mention the 5-minute range here on the Qs as well too. We had this indecision candle, and then that's why we decided to go a little bit higher. But we're going to go through some more analysis on the overall markets, guys, once we get back from Adara and Neil.
Both the S&P 500 and the Qs taking a bit of a tumble here. The 15-minute chart on the Qs, which actually just began its most recent candle, has 3 straight candles to the downside starting around 11:15. So lots of weakness in this market as of right now, ahead of a huge week for everything across the board. We have on Tuesday night, we're going to have that U.S. election. Then on Thursday, we're going to be having the FOMC meeting. So lots to watch and lots to look out for. Earnings also huge as well. This is going to be another big week for earnings. We have Palantir after the bell. And then Thursday night, we also have a huge round of reports. Names like DraftKings, Unity, all going to be set to report, as well as Airbnb. So keep an eye on everything from earnings to economic data as we head into the rest of this very busy trading week. In terms of the election, we're going to have DJT here on watch, which is actually initially down in the day, now up about 3%, looking poised to maybe break through the 31.5 level. This, of course, on watch as its majority shareholder, former president and current Republican presidential candidate here, Donald Trump, actually up for on watch majority shareholder of that stock. So keep an eye on DJT there. We also have BEN trying to reverse here, still down almost 6%, initially up on earnings. Then we had the CEO saying that this company's Western Asset Management section, which has already been pretty embattled, is now going to be facing another investigation from the CFTC. So keep an eye here on Franklin Resources. And also, if these are any other tickers you want to look at, get in that chat and vote. Exclamation point, join, space, $, and the ticker of your choice. We're actually going to see now Neil and his lesson of the day, guys.
Thank you very much, Adara. Lesson of the day brought to you by Gappers. So small cap, large cap, medium, whatever it might be. A lot of times in the mornings, you're looking for what has moved the most in terms of a catalyst. So you might just care this stock, X stock is up 10% or gapping higher. Sometimes if it's a smaller one, you want 20 or 30%. But just because something has gapped up, good catalyst, usually you hope for it to be a good catalyst or no catalyst, or maybe it's just a short float name. Whatever it might be, there's certain things you want to see before you just automatically think continuation long, because I want to talk about the bit of a trap that a lot of short sell traders will look for when there's a gapper that makes it obvious that maybe the buying just isn't there. Now I'm going to use the most extreme example with Viking this morning, and then we'll get to a couple of ones that are a little more nuanced. But Viking Therapeutics, so they had positive oral results. They were in the pre-market. I mean, over the weekend, this was doing crazy volume, even overnight. And when you think about something gapping 15, 20%, generally speaking, that's a good move. And especially for a name in the GLP space. So it's all looking like it's going to be roses, and I'm kind of leading into sort of the obvious here. Well, obviously it didn't hold on. But here's the thing. When you sit down, and if you sit down at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., at what point was this actually doing anything but trending down? Now, you could make the argument, and I think it wouldn't be a ridiculous one, that until it came all the way into Friday's previous high, that was the only spot that it caught a bid. So this is an easy sell that it was trending to the downside, and at no point did it reverse that trend. You've got lower highs and lower lows, and then you eventually reach this double bottom here at 75, or at least it holds the same level for a couple times. So look, if somebody was thinking that this was a long when setting it up in the pre-market, to each their own, but I think it could have maybe given some indications that it was here. But here's the thing. When it did make a double bottom, look where the resistance came in, right at a previous support level. So you want to sit there and say, okay, well, no more higher lows. It's not showing you any double bottom, but no trend reverse. Again, it tries to hold the same level, breaks even lower in the pre-market. So it's giving you absolutely no indication that there's a continuation trade. At this particular point, here's what a short seller is thinking. That if they're not already in it, that the one place in which it bounced and trapped any kinds of longs, which was right in here around 77, if it fails that, look short. That's essentially what a short seller is going to be thinking, because that's what I would be thinking if I was trading and I wasn't trading Viking until an SSR bounce right now. But this 77, the first spot at which it held any kind of a support in the pre-market after a gap up, there is a rejection of 77. Well, what happens at the open? Try to break through, does not, fail 77. That's the one key price where you might have gotten some people in there to the long side that are short-term traders, and then look at it fail underneath VWAP, exactly the same price area. If you're looking for longs, and maybe you're long, you wanted to play off that 75 and give it a chance to fill in some of the gap to the upside, maybe you wanted to take it breaking out at the open, you've got to have in the back of your mind that there's going to be sellers underneath 77 that are shorting this thing. given that it is trending to the downside. Speaking of which, the SSR bounce play is going to lose here at 65. I'm getting it right there. So I went for a short sell restricted bounce when it went 10% down. 65 tried to hold. It was about 30 cents in there. Always like that shot, but Viking taking it on the chin. Now that's an easy example of a gapper that you do not want to be pulling the trigger on until it shows you that there's actually strength in there. NLSP was another gapper, which was giving you, I'd like to think, more subtle signs. It, at least at 7 o'clock, had buyers going with it. So boom, you had strength going to the upside at 7 a.m. It wasn't all selling after gapping up. So it goes strength, 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 strength. But then you still want to observe what is the most recent price action before you get to the open. And in this particular case, while it hadn't given back the entire move, you have another situation where, okay, so after making a fresh high, what do you have? Lower high. Tries to bounce, does a good bounce, gets above VWAP. Same lower high at $6. Then another lower high. Now it's underneath VWAP and holding underneath VWAP at the open. Understand that short sellers are going to be all over something like this because it's, again, trending back down and trapped longs that have bought some of these dips. And again, it's just trapping retail longs. You get a bunch of people that probably are even tweeting saying, come buy an LSP, it's gapped up, blah, 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 blah. But they're looking for that flush because it's been selling the entire pre-market into the gap. And then at the open, all it does is flat bottom break. So it doesn't even test higher. It just immediately takes out a support level. So you've got to be careful chasing these. And if you're a short sell trader, well, again, it was showing you trend down with plenty of a gap to fill. Like you could, as a short trader, you could look at a 480 breakdown. You probably have to pay for some locates with support down at $4. You're talking an 80-cent move, and you can stop out at $5.10 at that local high. So there's lots of shorting strategies that I think traders are going to be looking at. And if you're not doing them, it behooves you to at least understand where it's going to get hammered if you're trying to take the long. And I'll give you one last one, and that's going to be VST. Now, this would be the example of one where I think you could have reasonably had a shot at what might have been a long setup at the open. And it got really close to being able to do so. Another gap higher. I'm zooming out so you can see why. Another gap higher. It's clearly trend down. Ignore that dark pool. Like it gets back to about $8. So it goes into Friday highs a couple of times and tries to take them out. Now, this is where I can understand. The other two can't really rationalize why you'd be looking and liking the long. But this one, I think you can understand why. It double bottoms off that 7, starts trending well before the open into a breakout above that $8. So I can totally see why you'd look for this rounded bottom and then breaking out that top above $8. I get it because you got tops at 10. You think how far it's gapped up there. You're liking the idea that it's made some higher lows, but you've got to have yourself an out. Why? Because ultimately still trend down, doesn't hold on. VWAP is very tight to your entry point. And so what happens when it gets to first support right at the open? It loses the very first support level at $7.50 and never looks back. This is the thing about these gap fill trades, the ones that are huge gaps upside, you know they're highly volatile. Just because everyone thinks that they can give them 20, 30, 40, 50% wins, sometimes 100% wins, you lose sight of what it looks like when it fails. And if you don't recognize that it's been trending down or trapping some people, then you're going to end up getting caught in a rinse. Now, it's not the end of the world. If you went long here just above 8 and you stopped out under 750, that's not a bad risk to reward trade. But you don't want to get wrapped up thinking it's just going to hold on to, I don't know, like 620 when it's been trending down the whole way. Why risk that much when it's never looked that good? And that's the thing. You're not obliged to be in every single trade. Just because something showed strength in the pre-market doesn't mean it'll show it at the open. If it's been trending down despite being up 30%, 70%, 100%, the trend is the trend. And I know it's lighter volume in the pre-market, but it can give you one heck of a sign that there are no buyers in the stock and you don't want to be trapped as a new buyer in that pre-market. So whether you're looking for short entry trades into things like these gappers, or you're just looking for reasons to not get trapped, this is your lesson of the day, that you want there to be continuation and you rather join buying as opposed to pray there is buying. Just because a stock is green on the day or in the morning, it doesn't mean it's actually trending higher or even looking strong. There's your lesson of the day. Be careful with those gappers, and sometimes you'll find great retracement trades.
Just keep an eye on Reddit here before we go back to Joe and Sharif. RDDT still down in the day here by about 1%, but getting a bit of a volume pop here. Josh Brown of Ritholtz Wealth Management announcing live on CNBC that he has purchased some Reddit. So RDDT getting what we call the Josh Brown pump sometimes on the show. Here, though, still down on the day. If these are any other tickers are on your watch, vote for them in the chat, !join, space, $, and your ticker of choice.
I love the Brown pump.
I love JB.
I love the Josh Brown pump. Sorry,
I'm a big JB guy. Yeah,
I listen to Compound every week.
Yeah.
I like that New York look where they have all the New York bros come in for a quick set.
He's a straight shooter. That's one thing.
is.
I think he's one of those guys where you just hear him speak. He's like, all right, this guy's a straight shooter, right? So
and like I don't know how your perception of him has been, but he and this doesn't change my mind either way about him, but it helps more of his objectivity. He's not left or right. He just wants to talk about money.
Yeah, that's it.
Where is the money at?
That's all he cares.
Right?
That's all he cares about. That's literally all he cares about. And I think that's why Scott Wapner really likes him. Him and Scott, the judge have a good relationship. So anything that Josh Brown says, you got to take into consideration, and that's definitely with our guy Danny Ives as well too. So another smart guy, and I like Tom Lee. So I know you got the monster. Like,
he was on Squawk Box
yeah,
this morning.
exactly.
Yeah.
So just incredibly smart individuals, and when what they're looking at, you definitely want to take a gander at it and look at too, and why. Just don't copy their trades or anything. Is not what I'm getting at, but just understand why they're looking at these specific assets, and they're usually in the right direction with that one. So yeah, guys, let us know what you're looking at. In the chat, someone asked, why did I close my TQQ long? Well, if we pull up my chart, you'll see exactly why we closed out my TQQ long. It was not a good one. We were late to the dance on that one. I know ADL was bigging me up about risk management there, but unfortunately, Adam, we took a little bit larger of a hit on that one because we did go heavier size, looking for the turnaround. But then the market just absolutely continued to tank and is now holding this 5-minute opening range low. We do have this pivot. I don't know if we're going to bounce off of this. It's looking as of right now that we are. But again, 1, 2, 3 losses on that. I'm not going to try to catch this falling knife anymore. So guys, that's my look on that. Even though if it does continue, I want to take it one more time, but I'm not going to stick to the rules. That's part of the game. There's always going to be another trade. We're going to look for another trade at that, and we'll see what's going on. RDDT is holding VWAP and looking like it wants to pick up some volume, and who knows which way it's going to go from there. But I want to stick to what's strong. Meta was selling pretty heavy, so that could have dragged the Qs down. And sure enough, look at the Qs now trading back higher. But again, I'm not going to mess around with that. Meta slowly recovering. Google down 1.7% on the session, and Meta down about 1% on the session as well, too, guys. So the market is negative on the day now. So just hold on, wait. Let's see if these lows hold. We'll pull up the Qs quick before we send it off to Sharif quickly, just to take a look at kind of how this level's holding. Do we get a flat bottom break? Is this going to be a potential double bottom on the 5-minute? We'll see, even though we do have this candle, but I like how it's holding this 484 level somewhat. So there might be some resistance or some support that causes this stock or the index to bounce there, guys. So we'll hold off a little bit there. Again, the market's really weak. We got the election looming, and we have the interest rate decision coming up on Thursday as well too. So leading up to those days, you can expect some choppiness in the market, and even though we are pretty volatile on the session, we're up and then we're down, but again, it's essentially directionless on the session, my friend.
All right, there's a couple of things here. SMCI found support right at the volume weighted average price, so be careful with that if you're looking to short it, but this was not an accident that you hold up at VWAP on, I think, literally the penny there. So keep an eye out for SMCI. Did a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 red candle pattern on the 5. Now it's got a 2 green candle pattern looking to make a new high. The new high on this 5-minute candle comes vis-a-vis a break of 26.95. The other trade that I'm looking at right now is one that I'm in. Obviously, GSAT, it worked into 77s. I didn't cross. I've already taken a couple of beak wetters, but I don't like what I'm seeing right now on GSAT. I don't want this to manifest into a double top right here. So I'm on the alert for a new 5-minute candle that makes a new low, okay? So if you see a new 5-minute candle that makes a new low, I don't know. I think that might be a change in trend given the rejection at 77s. The other one, the ones you guys are yelling about in the chat, the ones that I just had eyes on, and the ones that I only would have had eyes on because of Neil. I changed my filter on my scanner because he gave me the idea to filter at 85 pennies as opposed to $1. Why would he tell me to do that? Well, there's a different trade to be had here north and south of $1 for these small cap gappers. So it behooves you to at least have knowledge of it, notice of it, before it gets to that dollar. And this is a case in point right here. SPPL, $14.5 million market share. It's done a light 176 million shares traded on the day. And it's got a whole bunch of news blotters, and I can't even be bothered to click one of them. 4.8 million share float. And let's find out what the short float is over here. SPPL. 3.17%, so not much in the way of a short float there. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. Now, this one knocked on the door of 95 pennies, and then funny enough, came back in and found support where? Oh, those halt levels. That's right. I chart them as support and resistance. And here's the key. Let's look at the 1. So you're not going to see it on the 5. You'll see it on the 1. When you see these little dashes on my chart, that means either no trading took place or it was halted. So this level right here, 79.90, that is the halt level that it halted at. Lo and behold, it comes in right into that 80 pennies, finds support, reclaims the 10, and now is putting in higher lows. Not necessarily higher highs, thanks to this topping tail candle over here, but it is putting in higher lows. So it's got its trend under it with that 95 penny HOD. I personally would set up either off the halt level at 80 pennies or the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. I would look for a dip trade off that. Now, if you have the ability to chart or trade, and not everybody does, so just indulge me for a second over here. Now, one thing I like to do is shadow these moving averages in VWAP, but your program has to support it. What does that mean? So I like the 10 exponential, but the 10 exponential is dynamic. It's always moving as the price changes and as a new candle forms on whatever time frame you're looking at, it's going to move. So I, on my program over here, have this draggable buy order, and I can set that buy order to wherever I so please. And as the 10 exponential moves up, I like to move up or down my order to shadow that level. Usually I'm looking to shadow it to the high side, obviously. I'm not looking to get long if the 10 exponential is pointing down. But that's what I want to tell you guys. If you're gonna look at getting a dip trade off the 10 exponential and you don't wanna be staring at the stock at all times, you only have to look at it every 5 minutes if you're charting on the 5-minute chart, because the 10 exponential will only change every 5 minutes once a new candle develops. So I'm very interested in SPPL over here, and if you have this option on your platform to shadow the lines, the moving averages, or whatever else you're charting off, it could be an interesting little tool to use there. So SMCI, VWAP dip, let's see if it can get away from it. ZNTL as well, another VWAP dip, or, well, not another, but another name that's VWAP dipping right now at that 380 level. ZNTL gave up the ghost at an important area though, so I don't want to be quick to jump into the long, VWAP or otherwise. Why do I say that? Well, there was this obvious 2-candle holdup over here at 1020 and 1025 that we got into 388s, and look how long we respected that 388 level for, essentially since testing it at 11:15. Well, finally, an hour later, we give way at that level. We had been respecting it the entire time. So that was an obvious level of previous resistance turned to support that we just gave way at. The VWAP hasn't proven itself at all today as support or resistance. So getting in at VWAP right now, kind of a gamble, unless you know you're fine with just basically throwing out resting orders and then taking a 5-penny hit if it doesn't hold the level, which is fine as well. I mean, it can work for you. So right now we've got this candle closing at the lows, but most notably above that 380 level at VWAP. So I'm interested. I'm certainly interested here on ZNTL. It's only up 15 1/3. It's not like the big mover or anything like that, nor is it giving you a lot in terms of notional. So if you're going to make money on this, like real money, you're going to have to size in substantially, and that could prove a bit of a problem on ZNTL. Well, why is that? Because it's only printed 1.83 million shares since basically all day, since 4 a.m. So you may have issues with liquidity at certain price levels, but yeah, make sure you're keeping an eye out on that. So SPPL, a new entrant over here that's found support, but it's kind of putting in lower lows. This is the one I'm talking about right now, on its way to $1. So we'll keep that on watch. And then another one, TNYA. Now, I put this bad boy up there on the side chart for these small cap gappers initially, and then it gave me bupkis. It was breaking down. As you saw, it broke down below VWAP, but now we're getting into that pre-market high. You know how much I love to use a definable pre-market high for these small cap gappers as a reason to start looking at this, especially once you take out that level. Now, we didn't quite take it out, Joe, because at 745, the high there was 265. Then we got right into 265 at 1045. So we haven't taken out the level, but we're certainly on our way, my man, because we're putting in a plethora of higher lows with that flat top hanging about 5 pennies from the current price action. We're printing 260s. We know that HOD is at 265. So I'm all eyes, ears, and everything else. This TNYA wants to set up, I'm game. Now let me give you the details on it so you're ready to go once and if it does break out. 33.5% on the day. It's about a $203 million market cap, so it's not the biggest I've ever seen, but the volume is quite substantial on it. 28.8 million shares traded on a $2 name, not bad. And it's got a float of about 77 million shares, and I'll give you the last piece of data over here. It's the float, decent. It's not the biggest, but it's 7.5% on TNYA. I can get behind that. That's not bad, depending on where these shorts are sitting. We can certainly squeeze them out if possible. Now, the Katina man just got back and he started yelling about Tesla. So let's, excuse me.
Just read what this says.
I've been passed the sticky note and I've been asked to read what it says on the sticky note for Tesla. It says 247 to 249 SS. And anybody who's wondering what that means, it means short sale. And so that's exactly what happened there. 247 to 249. And why is that? Well, why is that? Well, because the high of the day is 248.90, Katina man. He's $4 in the money now, and he just came back. Did you hit the gym? Swim and sauna. That's still a sesh. There's a racial joke that I can't say on the air, but I'll tell you after. I can't say on the air, obviously, but you and I will discuss afterwards. Yes. Sorry to yap there, Joe, and go on for so long. How you doing over there?
No, it's all right, brother. I'm just looking over at TQQ. Someone in the chat. Yeah, hey, listen, guys, before we go on any more, if you're enjoying the session today, please like and subscribe. If you want to talk some more technical analysis, if you want us to look at whatever stock you are looking at today or talk whatever options, please like and subscribe. Put the likes in the chat, subscribe, and make sure you throw your comments in the chat because we want to know what you guys are looking at, and we want to talk about what you guys are looking at as well too, Sharif.
Yes,
so
sir.
We're going to talk about what I was just in, and that was RDDT. I'm only going to take one stab on that thing. I ain't going back to it. Josh Brown can have that one. We'll take a look at it later, but we'll talk some more about what the TQQs are doing, or the Qs are starting to recover, and they did hold that level that I said that it looked like it was going to hold. That was support, and now we're absolutely roaring back to the top side. Well, guess what? I was 0 for 1, 0 for 2, 0 for 3 on the trade, which is super unfortunate and frustrating because now it is going back to do what I had anticipating it. Three shots on it. I'm not going to take any more. That's it. Unfortunately, we didn't get the way that it wanted to move, guys. So that's part of the game, and we took an L on that one. So just take, guys, what are you guys looking at in the chat? Let me know. Just tag my name in the chat, and I'll take a look at what you guys are looking at. So, what do you got going on over there, brother? Is everything storming up?
Yeah. It's not anything.
Storming Norman?
I like that.
Storming Norman.
Remember that? Plug, guys. Plug, we were yapping about how 242 was a level of import. Well, that just got taken out now. Okay, so whoever was selling up multiple storms, or sorry, it was 242 or 241. It looked like 242 to me, but on further analysis, it looks like 241. Now we're up to 244. We're not squeezing. I mean, we're breaking out of the top here on plug power. It's just, you know, how much room do we have to move? We're up 16 3/4 right now. There was a seller, as we said, at 241s. Now, you know, I don't know. I didn't really have something set up on this trade right now on plug. What I could do is sit at 41s or 42s for a dip trade. Now, it acted as resistance for so long. Does it now act as support? Or do we just punch in at the highs here, Joe? I'm going to have to look a little bit wider. Let's show me the 4 hour. Okay, so we're above, guys. We got into this level at 242 back on October 22nd. We're pretty, we're at local highs over here. Here's the 4 hour on plug power. Okay, so we have not been this high since July 31st. Into 254 we go. So that's not a whole lot of range from here. 256 is a level there. Back in July. That's the high we need to concern ourselves. That's 12 pennies from where we are right now. Now, you don't have to reject at 244, or 256, excuse me, but that's the next level of resistance. At least that's what I'm seeing on what's it called? Plug power. Let's have a look at GSAT, see if we got any prints on this. Guys, this has been working into 77s for a dang minute, and every time it works into 77s, it doesn't cross and it don't get the fill. So I'm trying to pack my patience. Again, it's at 77s. Again, it's being met with a wall of sellers, and finally I get the dang print. So now we're going to look for an HOD break on GSAT. That's sitting at 80s. I'm cheap and frugal, so I'm going to sit at 82s. Because I want to get a print at 82s. If it can take the HOD, we'll set up there. So GSAT up 28%, held the 20 exponential, and it looks like now it wants to take out possibly that 78s level. So I'm going to keep my eye out on that, no question about it. The future did get a bit of a pump there. Here, let's look at the NQ December contract. I was concerned about the future for one reason and one reason only. We gave up the ghost at 20,100, and then we worked our way right back into that 100-point level. So I was concerned we would reject 100 and then come back down. But Jay, shout out to Jay Lee. He messaged me in the chat. He's like, look, dog, I'm long T-triple-Qs. He was long at 20,000, like 30s, something like that. So the dude's printing up a storm. He's almost 100 handles in the money right now. So shout out to Jay. I know he took the T-triple-Qs, but that's a hell of a call. And Jay, were you looking at the double bottom here? Is that why you weaseled into the trade? What was the reason you got in? What precipitated you to get into the trade? Let us know. I think a lot of the viewers in the chat would like to know as well, because that's a solid trade, Jay. So we're going to shout you out for that one. And let me know where you're looking at wetting your beak or taking out the entire position, Jay. So, yeah, good look there. What are you looking at, my man?
Yeah, I'm looking over here at HIMS. They report after the bell. Someone has to take a look at it. So it's been really strong on this session, up about 1.75% on the day, putting in this really strong primary trend here to the top side. You can see that the opening drive was really strong. We had volume signature of just under 400K, trading about 4.63 million shares on the session with the report coming after the bell. You can see this 5-minute range held really strong, and then it broke with conviction. And then as you can see, we hold the steady volume, so that's a good look there. Be wary if you do have any shares or anything going into the report. Just be careful if you're extremely in the money. We don't know what kind of volatility this is gonna bring. We'll take a look at the expected move later, and we'll take a look at some of those because we got Palantir, Sean's darling, coming up after the bell too. So maybe
That's
Alex
reporting today.
Yeah.
Woo.
So maybe Alex Karp will give us a ring before the
I just hope he goes on TV again.
Yeah, he might need his hat back.
Hey,
from
Joe,
Sean.
you need to watch that interview, dog. I'm telling
Yeah, I
you, we're
watched
missing
it.
out. Did you watch?
Yeah, I told you. I watched
He's
it.
next level.
You're
Next
talking about
level.
like this guy's pure on the offense. Like he doesn't
Change the Department of Defense to the Department of Offense. Let's take them out before they take us out.
Crazy.
Like he says the stuff that you and I would say, you know, like
He just
in
speaks
private.
his mind. Yeah, exactly.
You know,
saying it
no,
on
he's gonna say it.
national
He's gonna say it.
television. So, yeah, guys. So that's the look on HIMS. They got the report. Strong primary trend. Is it going to hold these levels? We'll see. I actually kind of like it here. Maybe I'll test a little bit out, guys, because I do kind of like that it has a high level catalyst coming up after the bell, and it is starting to curl back over with some potential indecision candles right below the volume weighted average price. So I'm going to look to get into this a little bit here. So guys, continue to tell me what you're looking at. PLTR, yeah, sure, we can take a look at that. Just let me get into this HIMS position quick here. Okay, there we go. Let's see if we can go for that second leg higher before the end of the bell. But let's take a look at Palantir and see what it's up to, considering that I think it's off its all-time high, sitting around 41 bucks with an all-time high around $45 or so. Primary trend still intact. Thing is extremely strong on the session, and we expected. This stock has gone absolutely through the roof. I remember I was looking at Palantir back when it was 17 bucks, and I was looking to get into it, but I decided, I decided not to because I had other holdings. And Sharif, I was thinking about this the other day, just because we were talking about our holdings. I was thinking about your holdings. Something that I would have really liked to get into was Amazon. And a while ago, right? So I think that's that train already passed. Yeah. It's already set. So
I don't know, Joe, man. Who knows?
I mean, we were talking about AWS, so the steady growth within that is really strong. But how much more can you maintain that style of growth?
Can I say one thing about Amazon? Out of the Mag 7, Joe, and maybe they rival Tesla in this regard, but they are not afraid to go into areas outside their area of competence, bro. They will go into logistics. They'll go into cloud. They'll make their own. They're making tensor processing units or did their own kind of like AI GPUs. They go into everything. They got guts.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna be able
cash too.
And, well, yeah,
right? You know what I mean.
You need the cash.
You need the cash too.
We're keeping Adara waiting though at the.
Sorry. We kept going on there. Sorry, Adara.
Take a look here at IWM before we get into the small cap recap. If these or any other tickers are on your watch today or on your mind, get in the chat and vote. ! Join space $ in your ticker of choice. You have until 1:50 p.m., so about an hour and 20 minutes left to do so. At 2 p.m., Sean, Neil, and Sharif will go over all these tickers during the rundown. IWM here, really good look. Last time we looked at this, we were still trying to get above that 221 level. Now we actually are just below 222, which was the key level last week. Then we bounce off 220, and right now in mid 221. So let's see if we're able to eclipse that 221 level and continue this higher highs and higher lows trend we've seen so far today. Now we have simple here, SPPL. This is a penny stock. Sharif mentioned this one earlier today, up 184%. No catalyst for this one today, but on October 25th, they announced that they had received a staff determination letter from the NASDAQ. They received a warning from the NASDAQ back in April. Then because the price was still below $1, still on watch here. So apparently the company plans on appealing this notice. As of right now, though, no new news beyond this announcement from a couple weeks ago. It's worth noting we have about a 70% insider-owned percentage here for SPPL, so 70% insider-owned, and a float of about 4.86 million shares. Now we have GSAT. Looks like this could be a continuation play from Friday's announcement here, with Apple committing $1.5 billion to Globalstar with regards to the expansion of its iPhone satellite services. This includes a $1.1 billion upfront deal and then $400 million tacked on there as well. This morning we have Craig Hallam maintaining their buy rating on the stock and raising its price target to $5. So GSAT still on watch to the upside here. Last but not least, WW. No catalyst today for Weight Watchers, but they report earnings before the bell on Wednesday, so they're definitely going to be on watch there. About a 20.1% short float for frequent small cap runner WW, guys.
Thank you very much, Adara. I just want to mention quickly something here. Guys, plug power is going, okay? It's going to break into that $50 area. It's up now almost 19%. So PLUG took out the seller at 41s, and it hasn't stopped. HOD, look, it's not giving you much in the way of notional. It's at 48s, but the breakout is real. Havana Woody was asking me, bro, why'd you say the volume was sus on fun? I didn't say that. Maybe you probably heard me talking about a different one, Havana, because I know you're one of the OGs there in the chat. And quite frankly, I didn't say that at all about fun. Let's have a look at fun, though. Since you mentioned it. Now we've gone into Greensville, finally on Funware. I just looked over to the Katina man and the Neil. I yelled to them. I'm like, Donald John Trump is up 4 2/3 right now, and it's looking to take out that 32 level. We already know 3250 HOD on DJT. So this one is going. Now, why am I talking about DJT when I'm talking about fun? Because there's a historical link between them going back to the DWAC days. These bad boys, they're I don't know, the Funware is something to do with Donald Trump. Not that I care. So let's put in the ticker over here, PHUN. It's definitely not looking as good, Havana, as DJT, or is it? Well, the break-even level on DJT was $30.50. We're at $32.05. So we're $1.50 plus above that level. Now, the break-even level on Funware, $6.75. We're $6.85. So it's not a bad look. It's breaking, higher now. We're $6.92. Funware is going up here. So Funware is green. It's above that 6 3/4. It's knocking on the door 7. But as you saw, it was a bit of a shellacking last week for Funware with a plethora of lower lows and lower highs. So we've got multiple resistance levels from last week that we got to get through. In my humble submission, the first one that we got a weasel above is that $7 area. The, whole dollars act as areas of support and resistance. We get above 7, and then we're looking at 7 1/3, which was essentially the HOD on Friday. And that took place awfully early in the day, about 10 a.m., and then we went red on the day. So keeping an eye on Funware. I'd rather trade DJT, to be quite honest with you, but Funware, if you can manage risk and your setup is sound, have at it, man. So yeah, that's the look there. Jay Lee, when I mentioned fun about 90 minutes ago, you said it's up, but its volume was junk. I didn't even realize I said that, to be honest with you. So thank you for telling me. I didn't actually mean Funware. Maybe I meant a different one there. Shout out to Jay. Havana Wooding, you leading me. Sorry, I swear, Havana, I didn't even realize I was saying it about fun. But yeah, now that I've made my point very clear about how I feel about Funware, $7 is the first level of resistance, and I'm looking at $7.30. Let's see if it continues to go. DJT zigging and zagging right now with $32 with that 32.5, Joe. HOD.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, guys. He said it. The volume is not garbage. All right. So
what is the volume?
No, I don't think it was.
Let me find.
Yeah, I mean it's up there. So
it's almost 4.5 million shares.
Yeah, exactly. So come on, we'll take that. Guys, we're still in this hymns. We're not going to hold on to this too much longer. I don't think it took this leg up. The volume's dwindling a little bit, but I do want to talk a little bit about Tesla because we are. Whoa, what is that? Tesla. Did I do that there? Oh, okay, let's not hope let's hope we didn't mock. Oh no, it's just a trend line. I was like, okay, geez, hopefully I didn't mock something. Okay, anyways, guys, yeah, we're here on Tesla. We're gonna look for that second leg higher. We did hold the volume weighted average price just below it, and then we started to curl back over, and we are starting to move to the top side here, Sharif. Really will, yeah. So here we go with that one. Here, get out of here. Get this off. Get out of here. So guys, let's see if we can continue, and then we make a push for about 250s, or that's a little bit a ways from now, but around 246.12s is the next target, where we see this little bit of a consolidation phase here, this accumulation phase that we have going on with that one. So we'll see if we can get 50 cents on Tesla, and then we're going to start to save the position and then hold the rest for that 246 target if it decides that it wants to make that second leg higher. The Qs and the SPY are both just right under the volume weighted average price right now, so holding. So let's see if they reject or decide that they want to break through, some volume step in, and then we can continue that topside trajectory. So other than that, guys, continue to tell us, Chewy, what is the Chewy? Yeah, let's take a look at Chewy for you there. I know Roaring Kitty last week let go of or sold a bunch of his position in it. I think he was just trying to pump something up that didn't necessarily need it. That's just what the guy does. Yeah, I don't know about all that stuff, Sharif, the meme craze, and yeah, I don't know. Okay, anyways, yeah, Chewy up about, it's having an absolutely solid day. Did they report or anything like today? That today up 8.6% on the session, so putting in a really strong one there. Yeah, other than that, I don't know if I'm going to be trading this thing. It's pretty extended from VWAP. It might put in this potential double top here. As you can see, this primary trend. Let me pull it up. I don't even have it up here for you guys. Yeah, so we'll see if it can continue to hold this primary trend and see what goes on from there. You can see that we have a really strong opening range, and then it broke, came back, held the levels, and then now put in this absolutely monstrous run right here, holding the VWAP really strong, and then putting in these consecutive green candles with this primary trend still intact, forming lower or higher lows, I should say. So look for that test of the trend line, and then maybe you can get a bounce off of that, and then it can continue that way. As of right now, the Qs are rejecting VWAP, which is unfortunate. So we'll take a look at that right now as well, and see if it can continue. Let's see, we're sitting with Tesla about 244 bucks, just under 245. So if we can get that to continue to move, that would be nice. But I think as of right now, with the Qs rejecting VWAP, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble if it doesn't continue higher. So we need the overall market to move with us in order to get this higher move on Tesla, I think. So we'll take a look at that. SPY, you know what, and now that I mention it, let's take a look at XLF because it's one of my favorite sector ETFs, and it has not put in a good day at all. Extremely weak from 46.59 down to 46.26 here. So the financial sector has put in a pretty tough day. Take a look at XLE as well too. It is green on the day, so one of the stronger sectors. And we'll take a look at some staples, which is one of my other ones that I like to keep an eye on, and putting in a mediocre day there. And then we'll look at the tech sector here. So flat on the session. So we'll see why the overall market's a little bit weak, just chopping around this zone. And I mentioned this earlier in the session that we do have the interest rate decision coming up shortly on Thursday, and then we got the election looming too, so that can justify some of the current price action. Brother, what do you got going on?
I'm in Tesla with you here, man. We're in at 91, so we're gonna get stopped out. Yeah, stopped out. Yeah. Well, too tight a stop for me on the day today. Yeah. Got caught up a little bit on Tesla, but we had a couple of good winners on it earlier. But give it back, quite frankly. I think you're right with that VWAP rejection on the future, but yeah, I think I could be persuaded to get back in. If it sets up properly, it's just too rangy for me. All right, let's have a look.
Market's, sorry, man. The market's just range bound, man. As you can see.
Well, are you surprised though?
No,
I mean,
that's
right?
what I mentioned. I'd expect that stuff, right? When you have such a big week ahead of you, but see, the thing is though, here's one thing that I'm gonna add on to Shreve is that we just had the top 6 companies report, the Mag 6 report their earnings.
Yep.
So I was looking for a little bit more of a direction. But again, we do have the interest rate coming up on Thursday, and we do have the election looming too. So that kind of I guess balanced each other out. So yeah.
I mean, Tesla probably. I don't know. I didn't really give this too much thought. But of the Mag 7 names, which one do you think gets the most influenced by the election?
Elon's Tesla for sure, because he's exactly right. He's back.
Pissed off the other side to no end. Let's call a spade, bro.
Exactly.
Right?
So
they already didn't like him to begin with.
No.
Right?
So now
there was a lot of warfare against him. Yeah.
If the other party wins, then who knows what's going to happen to Tesla?
Well, exactly. So yeah, Tesla I think is going to be really interesting to see how this one trades after the election. Now, obviously, I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I don't anticipate we'll have a result tomorrow unless it's a landslide. I don't know how long we're gonna have to wait, Joe, but it's gonna be interesting to see kind of the market hold its breath if we end up being in that limbo state where we don't know who won and how the market trades in this limbo state. Does it consolidate to no end, like kind of what we're predicting, or does it actually trend, based on who's likely to win, and that probably develops or that changes over time as time goes on. So we'll have to wait and see how
How long did it take to determine? I remember the Gore Bush. The Gore Bush.
Oh,
was like
that was
a year.
long, bro.
Yeah, it was like a year.
They were suing. Then they had like recounts.
Because Fox came out and is like.
Remember that?
Bush won, but he didn't win.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That was 24 years ago.
Yeah,
Dang.
that was absolutely crazy. So there's
yes. Let's have a look at what people are saying in the chat. JF. Sharif, can you please have a look at SoFi? It's forming a descending triangle on the hourly. Absolutely. Let's have a look at SOFI. I think this was an earnings report last week. If I believe it did. Yeah, it did have its earnings report last week. You can always tell by the price action there. Okay, so an ascending wedge, I believe. You said descending wedge. I don't know, brother. I don't see a descending wedge on this. If, in fact, I see higher lows. So let's take the intraday trade today on SOFI. Let me throw in the watermark there so everybody follows along, knows what we're talking about. So this is the implied balance low. That's how low we got at 935. That's the low of the day, 1063. Look what we've done since then. So that's a low. And then the last time, the most obvious area trough is 1092, and it's a VWAP hold. And now we're working, I think we're about 8 or 9 pennies, 10 pennies away, from that high day. So I don't necessarily see a descending wedge. What I do see is resistance at Friday's closing print, which is in and around generally 1104. Sure, we're above it, but we're not really decisively above it. We are actually a lower high and a lower low based on Friday's price action. So from that perspective, a 2-day look, I see what you're saying. We've got lower lows and lower highs, but that doesn't create a descending wedge. It just creates a descending channel. So that's what I'm seeing right now on SoFi. Personally, no trade to set up on SoFi except possibly a short. There seems to be a double top at 11.11. We put those two levels in earlier today, the first at 10.35 and the second at 10 after 11. So not sure how you're seeing that. Jay Lee, Joe, Sharif. Yeah, the vote has become a girls versus boys. The spread between the sexes is now like 34% highest difference ever for what it's worth. I think you're talking about like the propensity of each sex to vote for a different candidate. Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
I think that's what he means. Yeah.
That's what
So that's interesting. Yeah, that's nothing really that we didn't know already. We'll do right. Other zinc, Sharif with the education. Let's go. What education? I'm just spinning a hot lot, but thank you, Other Zinc. Shout out to you, my man. I like what you've been doing in the chat lately. What else we got up here?
Yeah, Other Zinc. I like Other Zinc. Sorry.
No worries. Mark Susi, I'm loaded with DJT, Tesla, and Bitcoin puts. Tell us how you really feel, Mark, and how you want this to go. Shout out to you, man. Yeah, everybody to each their own, baby. Let's look over here at some of these small cap gappers, though, Joe. Some of them are making moves. Plug Power did a bit of a top at 254, but it's dancing with that $2.50 level. Now, what I want to watch to see, does 2.5 act as support over here, or are we going to give up that level? Because we are. I'm going to set up a dip trade here to account for this top that we had for a hot minute. That top was at 241. I likely will front run it by a couple of pennies if we give up at 250. Just to make sure I get the fill. So Plug Power, certainly on watch for me. Obviously, GSAT on watch for me. I'm involved in it. I've been waiting very patiently for that 78 penny break to go. And I think we just got 79s there for the first time in a hot minute. So we'll see if I can get printed on the north side of 80. That's also in focus for me. The other one, you guys kept asking me about this one, NUWE, and I said, nah, this ain't for me. And I'm happy I said that. Look at this. Straddling a VWAP with no discernible direction, only to flat bottom break. Now, as I say that, I kind of want to take back a little bit of what I said about no discernible direction. No, it does. It has a plethora of lower highs with a flat bottom. So this, my man, looks like a descending wedge, elongated or not, right? We have that lower high, lower high, lower high symphony, all with that, 290, 288-ish, whatever, flat bottom. And it gave up the way there. It is, ironically, though, finding support near an area that we had resistance at earlier in the pre-market. So keep your eye on NWUE. I mean, I'm not going to trade it at these levels. It has to reclaim the volume weighted average price for me to get interested. So we'll keep tabs on that. Ram, are we going to do the ad read? All right, let's get this set up over here. All right, we're doing Trade the Pool, right? Trade the Pool allows traders just like you to get evaluated and trade real shares using the company's capital with no PDT rule holding you back. That's a real edge in trading. Here's the exciting part. Trade the Pool has just launched a limited edition program for stock traders. For a one-time fee of $97, you'll receive $20,000 in buying power. All you need to do is reach up the profit goal. The best part? This limited edition program now has a reduced profit goal and fewer minimum trades required to reach the funded phase. Plus, the profit split is upgraded. Keep 70% of the profit. So don't miss out on the chance to explore this limited time offer. Join now for free. The link is in the description, or get to that QR code on the bottom right of your screen. Shout out to the folks there at Trade the Pool. Joe, what are you looking at?
Yeah, no, I'm just listening to someone in the chat had a statement that I like, said, "Dear Ollie, it would be nice to tell us what your experience 4 years ago was during the election." Well, Ollie, we're Canadian, so it doesn't impact us as much as it does you guys. But I mean, we keep an eye on that stuff because we do trade the American markets, and it's important to us to see what's going on and how the administrations are going to be moving forward, right? But again, it doesn't have the same impact on us as it does you guys. So yeah, that's just that, Ollie. We're in here on Tesla. We took a little bit off the top here, Sharif. We're in around at 244.88, and then we took some off around 245.30s for a nice little bit of gain, and we still have about 80% of the position. So the market is trading higher. Meta's starting to recover nicely, and so are the Qs. So I need Tesla to continue. I don't want to get stopped out break even, especially with 80% of my position on right now. And you've seen what I had going on in the TQQs. It wasn't the prettiest, so that happened. So I need to hold on to this one a little bit longer. And my HIMS trade is still working out as well too. It's actually breaking out. It's working out really well. Trading around $20.94 right now. So that's a really good look here. I'll pull up my HIMS for you guys. I don't know, can someone confirm in the chat, is that like Hims or hers product, like hair product? Because I know a bunch of my friends in the States are using Hims. So if that's the same company, oh wow. Because I know it's Hims and Hers Health, but I don't know if they sell a specific like hair product, like a minoxidil or whatever it is that helps hair growth. So yeah, I think those guys are in on it. Well, okay, yeah, so this is working out really well for us here, Sharif. So good luck, whoever mentioned that one. And Tesla is as well too. So this thing is absolutely roaring to the top side here and trading, yeah, top side, strong side. So yeah, guys, it's looking really well. So Apple is rocking. Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at Apple as well too, because everybody's putting their stuff in the chat. So it's just like, okay, perfect. That gives us a lot to talk about. Apple trading higher, still down about 0.5%. There's still a high to break on the session, or sitting around 222.50s. So we'll see if that can break. So let's see. That's only a matter of time until it possibly does. But I'm going to look to take a little bit off the top here on Hims, guys, because it is trading a lot well, and I'm going to put that stop to break even. So let's hold off on that for a little bit. Let's see if Tesla's starting to pull back a little bit, which I don't like. And this is frustrating. Sorry. So yeah, we're gonna take it. Yeah, well, no, I'm okay. We got it here, so we're good here now. So we're out of the rest of our position on Hims, guys. It's starting to pull back a little bit. So that was a nice trade there, as you can see on the session. So we got that working out really nice for us. So whoever mentioned that in the chat, thank you. I liked where it was setting up, and then I had that indecision candle at an extreme just below VWAP. So that would tell me that, hey, we're looking to turn around and then maybe continue that initial trend to the top side. So we'll go back to Tesla on the session. Let's see how she's doing. Or he, I guess it's Elon,
seller at
whatever
the
it is.
$quarter on
okay,
Tesla.
so seller at the $quarter, so big one there.
Three times now, Joe.
Geez, okay, so three times there. And we're continuing to hold. So I got my quote highlights up now. So then boom, here we go. Are you backing it now too? Let's go. We're both in this here now. So we're having fun on this one. Sharif's about 10 cents in the money on that one. I'm about from 24.88. So we're about just a little over 50 cents there, brother. What do you got going on? Show them the Tesla.
Yeah, hopefully this Tesla does the VWAP curl. It's been putting in higher lows and higher highs. It's been bamboozling me because I've been putting my stop, I think, in inopportune places. So I'm going to have to risk more, obviously, here in order to get not weaseled out. So we're going to let that cook. The other one that I'm keeping my eye on here, this one, GSAT, worked into 79s. I have my order at 82s, but by definition, that requires an HOD break. Right now, HOD's at 180. I also weaseled into SPPL over here. It did the dollar break and take, and then it came back in and tested $1. So I'm going to give this one a try. I want to see if it wants to weasel above $1. Or sorry, it's above $1. To stay above $1, it's getting some buying here. 5's going. Let's see if 6's, 7's. We already got the print. This is squeezing. All right, so let's hang out over here at 10s. Let's see what we can get at 10s. Seller at 8s, Joes, and I won't be convinced otherwise, in an iceberg order as well, because there was no discernible size at 8 to prevent this dollar plus name from weaseling up. Here comes 8s again. There's 9s, there's 10s, there's the other print again. Oops. So now we're going to look to print a little bit higher over here. What's better than number 14? It's above 13 because I'm not waiting at 13. Anytime anyone says 13 is an unlucky number, I'm like, my mom's born on the 13th. And then it throws people off. They're like, oh, what do I say? What do I say?
Well, I lived on the 13th floor of the condo. Yeah, like the condo I bought.
Bro, you told me this before. That throws me off because some condos, they don't even have
that, right? So, yeah, whatever.
So jokes.
Whatever.
All right, so we just got into 13s here. Joe, rejected. Here comes 14s. 14s showing up on the bid, but it's going to have to cross on the ask for us to get filled. That's what we call the spread. So there's a seller of note at 13, 14, keeping this monster down. It's up 250%, so the squeeze could be on. We'll see. Who knows what could happen here. So we're going to pack our patience there. We're printing here on Tesla, though, Joe. So a good look right now on the monster Cybertruck. If we stop fumbling these dang keys, we can put another out over here. So we'll put something to shadow that $50 level, and we'll see if we can get it. And we won't get upset even though if we don't get it. So the $50 in play. Let's see if we can ascend into that said $50. We're still negative, though, on the day on Tesla. Let's call a spade a spade. It's 1.5% in negatory land over here. So we're going to have to pack our patience on this name. Wow, look at this. That's kind of what it does, Joe. Let's see if it defends a dollar now. My stop's already in play. Nothing else for me to do on SPPL here other than to print at 14s or get stopped out through the break of 94s. We wet our beak already on here for exactly this reason. These are around for a good time. They're not all around for a long time. And now you're seeing this alert pop up, which means TNYA just took out the market, or the, what's it called? The, what do they call that?
Oh, no.
Tesla's coming down. Yeah, I see that. I've already put my stop in. TNYA, we're going to have to put TNYA here because it just took out that pre-market high, and now it's squeezing. So we earmarked that pre-market high at 65s. Now we're at 71s. Let's see if this wants to come back in and test the pre-market high. I'm going to sit at 66s. It doesn't look like it's coming back. 75s now, and the bid is really starting to attack right now. Looks like we may take out 75s. We're up 41% here on TNYA. This one looks real good. It's got a definable pre-market high. It's got a lot going for it, but I don't want to chase it. I'd rather it come back and test support. Here it comes. 69s were just showing up there. Looks like it dipped into 67s. I was waiting at 66. So no fill for me there. We're going to have to pack our dang patience on this one to see if we get the fill. What are you looking at, Joe?
Yeah, I'm over here on Tesla. I really want us to hold this level, Sharif. We're breaking down a little bit. The market's pulling in a little bit as well, too. So we got to see. I got until 24.88. If it breaks that, then I have to get out of the trade break even because we don't want to turn winners into losers. So please hold this. Oh, actually, I'm not going to beg you to hold the level. You either hold the level or you don't. Right? I'm not going to sit here and go on my knees and say, please hold it. No, that's not how it works, guys. All right. So VRO trades. Yeah, we'll take a look at SMCI for you. Absolutely. We'll do some technical analysis, but we're gonna hop right into SMCI for you right after we get back from Madeira, my friend. All right.
Keep an eye on PACS here. This is PACS Group, which is basically runs a group of skilled nursing facilities. They actually IPO'd earlier this year, up apparently 104% since its April 2024 IPO. Now facing a research report here from Hindenburg and down about 13% as a result. The short report is called How to Become a Billionaire in the Skilled Nursing Industry by Systematically Scamming Taxpayers. So pretty scathing report here from PACS, still going through, but basically saying that there is a turnaround strategy apparently that involves some scamming here. So this one actually in the RUT, $6.67 billion market cap, 7.6% short float for PACS, which continues to make new lows of day, guys.
Thanks, Adara, just for you.
Appreciate that, Adara.
Yeah, just for you, of course. All right. I'll put a giggle on your face. I'll put a smile on your face. Hey. Okay, guys, look, SMCI, VRO trades. You bought some 24 puts. You're a little bit stuck right now. Yeah, you know what? You're in a little bit of trouble. I'm just going to be frank with you, just like I am with, I just try to be, right? I just try to tell you how I see it. 24 puts. I mean, can it bounce from this? But it is extremely extended to the downside. I mentioned this earlier before. $50 up here, right? This isn't even the highs, so this is pre-split or after the split, post-split. $50. The low of the day was $25, $24. Now you need 100% to get 100% gain in order to get just to break even if you were long in the 50s. But you have some 24 puts. I don't know what days to expire you have or how much time you have, but I mean, this thing is really weak and this company is in a little bit of trouble. They do report tomorrow, so that's something to keep in mind, right? Do you want to get caught in the volatility onslaught, or do you want to just accept your potential loss and reassess your position? Because that's something that I would do, all right? Just speaking from experience, if you already have a contract and you bought it, I mean, it's not bad to hold it, because if you bought it when volatility was low, you're going to look to get that increase in volatility, but it may not equate to what you had before. So you have to assess that situation. It's totally subjective. Where do you stand on it? How much of a loss have you already taken? And if you were to cut your loss right now, then can you get back into the trade later? Which is always, the answer is yes. You can always get back in. You don't need to hold near and dear to a position. Just like I said, I'm not going to sit here and beg for Tesla to go higher. So don't do that either. Don't beg and hope and pray for SMCI to go lower, right? So that's something that you need to assess. Have a percentage metric set for your stop loss. If you've exceeded that, then just get out of the trade, reassess, and then you can always get back in if you are extremely bearish, all right? So that's my look for you, VRO trades. The stock is not pretty. There's other things that you can look to get in as well too, Sharif. But, Tesla's holding our levels exactly how we need it. We're going back to the top side, Sharif, sitting around $245.40 on Tesla. So that's a really good look there. Let's see if we can break this 245.70s, and then I think we can continue this second leg higher, which I think was due. Bang. What do you got going on? You just take some off there?
Yes,
Let's go. Let's go.
We just put another beak wetter there. So then there it is, Joe. Here comes the $50. There goes the $50, Joe. Now we got to hang out at the 2/3.
Oh,
baby.
no.
What? How you took everything out, didn't you? Yes, finally, finally.
No.
You got to work on that grip stick, buddy.
Man. Oh, no.
I'm going to get it when he does that.
You said finally.
Can you tell I'm bitter?
Yeah,
Like,
he's like, finally, he did it.
I'm joking.
No, it's all fun and games here, guys. Are we off to a dare? All right, we'll get back to the hype later.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. Oh, are we going over there?
Yeah.
We have some crypto plays and watch. You're going to take a look at the crypto segment here at 1 p.m. Starting with MicroStrategy, down about 0.5% right now. Actually getting a price target increase from Barclays this morning from 225 to 275. I wasn't able to find a note on this, but they did recently increase their price target about half a month ago on October 13th, 2024. They still have that overweight rating. Basically, they attributed their earlier price target increase to Bitcoin prices remaining somewhat elevated and saying that MicroStrategy is in a unique position as compared to other crypto stocks to accelerate their Bitcoin yield and build up their quote-unquote war chest. We know Michael Saylor is very involved here in this Bitcoin space. So MSTR getting its second price target increase in less than a month from Barclays, currently at 275. Other recent Bitcoin earnings names on watch include COIN and also RIOT. All three of these companies reported earnings after the bell on Wednesday, so this would be day 3 earnings for these tickers. Again, these are any other tickers on watch. Make sure you vote for them in the chat. Lots of weakness here in some of these crypto names, specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum, both down about 1% on the day. Some other names, though, having some strength. We still have Dogecoin up about 6.5%, Ripple up about 2%. Though Solana, which was initially green on the day, is now red. Of all of these, though, one that's particularly weak is Cardano. This is actually its third straight day to the downside. What I wanted to do was take a little bit of a look at ADA, because this is one that we've looked at a little bit less when compared to other tickers or other crypto-related names during this afternoon segment. So what we have on Cardano is a bit of a double top here in this daily chart. First peak here at this 0.407 level around late August 2024. Then we get another one here in late September, about a month later, before continuing to the downside. There's a bit of an area of resistance here, about 0.366. Now we've seen another bit of a double top here at 0.357, currently trading around 0.342 and at a potential level of support. So let's see if we keep seeing these mini double tops and lower highs on the ADA against the USD. Again, these are any other tickers on watch. Make sure you vote for them in the chat with exclamation point, join, space, $, and your ticker of choice.
I feel like the market's just being kept down for technical reasons, just because we're like playing in a range, because we work up into VWAP, and then we get back into that 20,150, which is Friday's closing price, and now we're being pushed down. And then you've got the mother of all topping tails right now on Tesla, and I don't want to take this out too quickly because it's been dancing with the whole dollar for a while, but I don't like the look of that, so I'm gonzino on that. We'll take our profits and run on this one. So we're at a Tesla. Now this is the one that I'm dealing with now, TNYA. Yeah, I mean, there's just no respect for technicals today. Come on, Mr. TNYA. No, what I'm talking about here is this area of resistance. Initially, this 265. That's the reason I got into it, because of this 265 level. And it didn't even hold up there. I mean, at all, right? It goes into 275, and then we dip, unless we're going to hold up at the 10 exponential. So we're not holding up at what I perceive to be an obvious level of resistance, but we are still putting, we're still holding above the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. I'm also an SPPL for exactly that reason, even though it did give up the ghost at $1. It's at 98 pennies, but it's still holding above the 10 exponential. So it's not really flushing, dropping down to VWAP. So I still got a position on this one left, looking to print to the high side on that one. And then last but not least, GSAT. This one is giving me kind of what I want, but not in the way of notional. The buck 80 is, we already printed that buck 80, so we've tied the high of the day that we put in at 11.15, but I'm sitting at a buck 82, so not much in the way to report on that one either. Let me tell you about this one though, plug power. So we were basically yelling about this one, breaking through the flat top at 241. It did work its way to 254. It's not quite back down, obviously, into that 241, 242 area. But if it does this hold up at the 10 exponential moving average and wants to form a bull flag of sorts, well, then I can absolutely be persuaded to try to take this one into a continuation trade. But we'll pack our patience, see if that one actually presents us with the trade. So right now, in SPPL, in TNYA, SPPL just claimed $1 again. So I'm happy I didn't get out of this one because it did hold the 10 exponential, but we're not out of the woods yet because it's got to break the high a day. We'll talk about that and much more when we get back from the big desk with Adara.
Another small cap on watch here, or rather a penny stock, NVOS. This is Novo Integrated Sciences. This one here up about 17%. It recently made new day's highs, showed up on a volume scanner for me. So worth noting, there isn't a ton of volume on this. It's below 2 million shares traded on the day. Just cracked into that 1 million level. No news, but a market cap of $3.62 million. We have here a float of 15.67 million shares. So pretty small market cap and float here for a penny stock. This NVOS on watch here, guys.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Appreciate that.
Sharif, it's looking like my accidental out on Tesla was pure cash money.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
It was.
It just is perfect.
So
perfect
it was literally perfect. So I accidentally did not mean to do what I did. And then sure enough, I catch the top on it. So that was a good one there. So yeah, man. Thanks, brother. Yeah, continue on.
Yeah. No, I want to say quickly over here, what was I going to mention? Yes, SPPL, keeping an eye on this one. This one just worked into 32, into 110. But guys, Donald John Trump is moving. And now we need to put some dang respect on DJT's name right now because it's coming into the highs. In fact, it took out the highs. 32.87. The high of the day was that 32.51 double top that we put in at the open. The implied balance high was that 32.51. We just took it out. We've been very respectful of the 10 and the 20 since basically putting in this local area trough at $30 to the T. This candle here at 11.20 put in the low of exactly $30. And since that time, it's been a plethora of higher highs and higher lows with a new HOD. We're looking at $33 possibly now on DJT coming in soon. So we'll keep tabs on that. TNYA is breaking down. If this one breaks below 55, it's over there. We're long at 66. So we're already down 11 pennies or 10 pennies on this one. And now look at this. SPPL reclaimed the buck and it held the 10 exponential. worked its way back up into 10, but still unable to get the fill north of the high of day right now. In fact, it's an ugly, ugly, ugly inverse hammer candle, topping tail, whatever you want to call it, right now that's brewing on the 5, but the other side of that coin is still above the 10 exponential. So it's not breaking down in trend quite yet. DJT is going to break $33, $32.98 HOD. DJ Dang T just waking up, 7 2/3. The first thing that Brendo said to me today was like, did you see DJT? It lost 40% last week. And I didn't have an opportunity to keep an eye out on the news or anything like that because this weekend was a hell of a busy weekend with work. But I just took a gander now. Well, not now, but in the morning, looking at the new betting odds. Holy, they changed fundamentally from where we were last week. Fundamentally, we were talking about like high 60s, mid or low 30s for her, or mid 60s, mid 30s for her. Bro, it was almost 50-50.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of splitting again.
It's a coin flip. I think it's a coin flip with this one here, guys, on this election. So it's only a matter of time. And we don't know how long it's going to take. Sharif and I mentioned this before. We don't know when the winner is going to be determined. So, guys, if you're in the States, just make sure you get out there. This thing is absolutely ripping to the top side now, Sharif. It's absolutely soaring. I don't know if I want to chase it up here, though. Or what are you doing with it? Are you looking to...
No, man, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
You don't know. All right. Well,
It's squeezing, though. This is a squeeze, Joe. Look at the tape move,
Look
Joe.
Look at the tape, man. It's not going to halt, I don't think. But, I mean, hey, like, it's moving, guys. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. Maybe we'll look to pull something out of Obi's bag of tricks and look for the mean reversion on it. If it does, we're not going to try to short a strong stock here, but we'll take a look on that for sure. Guys, and I mentioned this on my Tesla. I don't know why DJT's up here now, but okay. I'll pull my Tesla back up, and we got fortunate with this one. I was going to try to hold this to 46, but then I by accidentally punched out all right here, and I caught the top coincidentally. So that was a fortunate move there because the overall session has not been the greatest, considering you guys seen what I had going on with the TQs. And it eventually did what I wanted it to do, but my timing was off, and that is, as someone says, Joe always says it is a part of the game. So sometimes your entries are slightly off, and then you miss the move that you're willing to get. So sometimes it's really important to be patient, guys, and really get that confirmation on when you want to take that next trade. So put it in the chat, guys. We haven't talked too much options today, so put it in the chat what you guys are looking at, if you guys have any potential options trades coming up into the election. I know people want to play the straddles going into that, and with the earnings announcements as well too. As for me, I like with the high volatility, I'm going to look to sell some credit. Kyle, I don't know if you're in, Kyle Burdett, I don't know if you're in the chat, but I was doing some analysis over, day trader cut. I told you it's part of the game, man. It is. Anyways, Kyle, I was looking at your SPY thesis. I was looking to create some trades for myself potentially, and there is some things that I really like, Kyle, about the overall market. So it's just a matter of time until I think these start to play out kind of how I want them to. We had a really big gap down. I'm going to look for a little bit of a recovery. Let's see if we enter gaps, because you guys know I like to play gaps. But if we fail to fully do a hard fill, as my buddy Greg V would say, of this gap fill, then I'm going to do some bear call spreads on this using the all-time highs as my stop. So if we fail to fully fill this gap here, then I'm going to start to sell some premium with the heightened volatility. As you can see, the ATR is slightly up a bit, so therefore I'm going to get a little bit more premium when I start to sell some credit. And Kyle, I am going to use these highs, so I'm going to look to sell some 590s and some 595s, maybe a week or two out, and collect those premiums once we get past all these catalysts and macro data that we got coming out. So that's my look there, brother. TQQs are now back trading to the top side. What do you got going on over there,
Been scalping the hell out of DJT over here to no end, man. In it again, looking for that $0.50 break. A break below the $0.25, I'm gone. It's going to have to maintain the momentum. I've been scalping it in front of the $0.50 because there's been a seller of note in front of the $0.50. So I don't want any of that smoke. 33.50 is exactly the high of the day at the moment on DJT. As we close in a little bit on the $0.50, I want to show you the size that's sitting at different levels, 48s, 49s, 50s. Let's see if we can work our way back there. We're having trouble ascending past mid-40s. Here we go. 45 showing up. Now we're selling off at, okay, here we go again. It's not, yeah, it's not showing me the size at the half. There it is. Now the $0.50. There it goes. We take him out quite aggressively. Seller at 55s now. So that same seller looks like has the same gateway on 55s. Let's see if we can squeeze a little bit more. Here comes 60s. I think we're going to get 60s soon. Where am I long? I'm long 39s. Wow, it just dropped 20 pennies. Someone offloaded a big position off that 60s, but right up into the 60s we go again. So lots of volatility on Donald John Dang Trump. 9.5% in the clear right now. It's taking out all the levels, intraday levels. Here comes 60s, where there's a seller at 62, big boy size, about 1,000 lots sitting at 62. Let's keep an eye out on this one. Let's see if we can continue to move above that 62 level. Here's the size at 62. He's getting eaten, bro. He just got killed there, but then we dip down again, so that makes you feel like there's another hidden order or an iceberg at that level, because the posted order just got killed, and then we got dropped down again. So now the HOD on DJT64, and there it goes again, mid-70s, Joe. Let's go, baby.
God, let's go.
Let's see if we can print up a little bit more, going into that whole dollar area. Let's see if we can get 74s on Donald John Dang Pump. Let's go, baby. The election's tomorrow, but we're having fun today. Let's go, my boy. All right, we'll wait over here. There it is, Joe. 80s now, 79s, HOD on DJT, 10 1/4, baby. Yeah. We'll take it out here. I'm getting tired.
The grips, right. Yeah, the grip strength. That's right.
It's more like the vocal cords, bro.
Yeah, the vocal cords.
My God.
Yeah, it's an auction process. Usually we're at the
that was intense.
Yeah, that was really intense, Sharif. Somebody in the chat asked me to take a look at the incredible Mr. Lib asked us to take a look at FXI from. He's going to look into do some potential calls. I mean, we're totally off the highs here around 37 bucks. So we do got that China stimulus still kicking in. If you're looking to get into some calls, I'm not going to disagree on this one, because I think at some point you do recover. At what point is the great question. So just continue to wait for your setup to come up. And then if you want to buy some calls on FXI, absolutely. So that's a good look there. And then also somebody in the chat asked me about DJT. You sell both sides to capture that profit. Do you do condors or straddles, or how would you? Yeah, I'm a big condor guy. I absolutely love condors just because of the metric. We did a lesson on them last week on condors. So I like selling premiums, but when a stock is kind of trending how it is and DJT is memeing, I would avoid that a condor, because you don't know how much an extreme is going to move. I'll look to implement a condor on a stock that's more kind of quiet and doesn't have any meme kind of aura around it, and just something that is more quiet. I don't want any big catalyst in the near future when I create a condor. I just want some nice, quiet, steady price action and let it chop around, right? Because we are selling credit and we don't want the extremes to wick us out and phase us out onto one side of the trade. So anything with high volatility like that, I'm going to avoid in a market neutral strategy. But if you're looking to sell credit or even go directional on that, then yeah, absolutely. When DJT is roaring like it is right now, to be directionally biased is absolutely amazing. But you don't want to be selling credit and creating condors on assets like DJT, because this thing is still. Are you still plucking some out?
We added, baby. We got in again.
Boom,
Joe.
boom. Pull up the man's chart. Like, look at it. He added at the top there.
I did. I'm nuts.
So I
don't usually trade like this.
No,
Joe.
but hey, if it's working, it's working.
Yeah, man.
If it's going parabolic, continue to go with the flow. And Sharif is doing exactly that, going with the flow.
Huge seller at 34. Boom! It got taken out. Let's see if we can go. Seller at 4. Seller at 4. Just got cleared. Wow, this is insane today on DJT. Go, baby, go. DJ Dang T. We just took out the 34 tops there. We're going to look to get back in if we can. So we're going to weasel our way into DJT so long as it's running. And I'll keep scalping out just like I am now. 11% in the clear. Donald John Trump. Katina Man loves that. Shut up. Take a Katina, man. I know I say that a lot, guys. I know I bug some of you guys in the chat. Yeah, he likes it. It's all good there. It's all good. Everything's fine. So 34, a level of importance right here, Joe. But we just took it out again. 14's incoming. That is the HOD on DJT. 15's showing up. 15's getting cleared. It's a high a day festival right now on Donald John Trump. It's squeezing big, 12%. Let's go. You know, we've got umpteen amount of resistance levels here, no question about it, because we dropped 40% last week. So there's going to be those resistance levels all along the way, guys, and we're seeing them in hidden orders.
Wow.
Yeah, bro, it's just going. It's just going.
This is crazy. Up 11.25. Yeah, send it. Yeah. Right over to the Katina, man.
Send it to the Katina, man.
Send it to him.
I just want to say a great trade on Donald John Trump.
I'm sorry, guys.
No political affiliations or anything. I just, great trade there, Sharif, as we continue to be short on Palantir and on Tesla ourselves. We're very, very excited to see this trading on the midday. A lot of action.
Yes, sir.
Great trades over there. Thank you to both Joe and Sharif for the continued excellent midday trading show.
Appreciate you, Katina, man.
My hats are off.
I
want to say a big shout out to both Rob and Mark, who are eagerly and anxiously getting ready for quite a construction situation that's going to be happening here very, very soon.
Seriously?
Oh, Robert told me he's not that excited about it.
What's going
They're
down?
they're replacing plumbing. I mean, it's much more than this.
Whoa.
I don't even know lawyers are involved in everything.
Oh.
This is serious. They're actually building like little containers to isolate our workstations and everything, just in case there's gonna be, there's work. Oh, I gotta go.
Well, we gotta
didn't want to get too deep
we gotta
into it.
protect the equipment, guys. If you've never seen the floor, Chilean or Ram, can we show them the production view? Guys, if you haven't seen Ram, can we move it around so that they can get a full look, or is that not possible? Yeah, take your time. I'm sorry.
No, we thought you were a meta-human.
I know, right? What we want to show you guys is the equipment that we've got here. Guys, it's like we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment. There's a Chilean nightmare.
Yeah,
there's
he's getting out. He's doing it work. Yeah, look at the folks in the back
he's
there.
Working. That's Rob, and that's Mark. Rob on the right, Mark on the left there. As you can see, there's Ram doing...
Zoom in, Ram.
Yeah.
There we go.
Keep working hard there, Ram. Keep working real hard.
Double R, sorry.
And there's the human algo at the big desk. Get it, human algo. Adara, you're on camera. Just wanted to tell her. There you go. So, I just wanted to show you guys that because obviously, there it is. Look at this, guys. There we are over here. There's the Katina man. There's the Neil in his Auburn. Is that Auburn? Or is that Auburn? He doesn't know. He's like, I don't know, man. Stop asking me questions, man.
Come on.
Shout out to Neil, man. Yeah, he said, we're bad with colors. Yeah, I know. I suck too. There's Joe and I over here. CNBS over there. You guys get the drill over here. Get it, Katina, man.
Sweater is maroon.
Maroon. Yeah, I would say it's more maroon.
My wife's calling me. Hold on.
No, Maroon 5. Maroon 5. Maroon 5.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys.
Sharif, okay, it's tough. We're pulling back here now. I don't know if I'm going to short this thing. I'm actually not going to short this thing, so I'm going to send it right over to you because I want no part of it.
All right, man. Look, we're not in Donald John Trump anymore, but I'm very interested in a 33 dip and pop. Why am I looking at 33, Joe? Because, well, that's the whole dollar level, and it's awfully close to the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. And you know how much I love taking these breakout trades when they're pulling back into the 10 exponential. And let me even go a step further and tell you that I use the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 as an informal gauge of overbought and oversold conditions when we have this big move on these gapping stocks. I'm not talking about Meta and the Mag 7 and the bigger names. I'm talking about the ones that show up on my scanner, the lower float names. When they get too far away from the 10 exponential on the 5, I do wait for a bit of a retracement. This is too far away. So let's see. Number one, do we come back into 33? If we don't come back into 33, then I'll have to set up a trade a different way. In addition to that, if we break 33, and we give up the ghost at the 10. The 10 right now is at 32 mid-80s, so about 14, 15 pennies south of 33. I'm all eyes and ears at the implied balance high. Where is that sitting? 32.50. And that was a level we had a whole lot of trouble breaking through initially at 9:30 and 9:35. And then when we worked our way back finally at 12:55 and 1, we did initially reject it. And then you got that monster green candle on the 5-minute at 105. Look at that. All 3 candles closing very much near the highs. What does that tell you? That means buyer exuberance was just very strong at that level. So number 1, let's see a 33 dip. It doesn't dip into 33. Does it dip a bit more into about 32 mid-80s to touch the 10? If it doesn't, then I'm looking at 32.50 only to account for that implied balance high that it put in or like right at the open. So DJT running up big. It's looking real good here. We're going to keep an eye on it. The trade we're still involved in, Joe, is GSAT. And it's been lulling me to sleep to no end. It touched 180. It touched $1.82, and you know I was waiting at that $1.82. So let's go find out if we got filled. Of course we didn't get filled because it didn't cross. What does that mean? It means that the ask, the seller, the lowest anybody was willing to sell GSAT for at that particular time was $1.82. But that doesn't mean that the highest price someone was willing to pay was $1.82. And therefore, it's got to be on the bid. That price, can I show them, remember? That price, that $1.82 that you want to get filled out, it's got to be on the left side of the book, not the right side of the book. So if you don't, what's it called? What am I looking to say here? We didn't cross the spread, hence I didn't get filled. Well, I can't say that on here, but yeah, well noted. Thank you, Rob. Ghostbusters. Very, very good point. I haven't watched Ghostbusters in so long that I totally forgot about that. Rob told me, look. Yeah, I know. I'm a perverted individual, Katina, man. What can I say? No. Rob says, don't cross streams. And specifically what he means is Ghostbusters, Joe.
Yeah, which is insane because I don't know how you're going to remember. I wouldn't personally remember that. Right? That's crazy.
The more you know, the better.
Yeah.
Rohit Sharma letting us know that NVIDIA is past $138.
Yeah, I'm in it.
Is that Hanna-Barbera land? What is going on over there? Oh, my bad. Okay. You don't have to.
What is Hannah? Okay, is this out of my time? No, is this out of my time, Hannah?
I like when I say something and then like it's so preposterous to everyone that they get offended.
It's wild.
Like Hanna-Barbera? What are you, psycho?
Who is that? What is that Hanna-Barbera in the first place?
I have no idea.
I don't even know. Okay.
Neil says it's blasphemy. Yes.
Okay, it is blasphemy. Absolutely. Quote 300, blasphemy. Sharif, I'm in a little bit of pain over here, my friend.
What's going on over there,
you can see the TQs. The thesis played out, I mentioned that. And guys, when we say it's like, hey, yeah, we have a lot of fun, but sometimes frustration does settle in, even though we may not project it. But don't get it twisted. I'm a little upset at myself with this TQQs trade because essentially my thesis did play out exactly how I wanted to. So if we can pull up my chart, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm just going to pour a little bit more salt in my own wounds here and look at what Yeah, is that funny? Is that funny?
She likes
yeah,
people's
she likes that.
pain,
She likes
Joe.
some pain.
Are you just getting to know her now?
That is absolutely, and she's laughing like hysterically. As I'm saying, I'm going to inflict more pain on myself, guys. All right, so no, that's just a look on TQs. It was unfortunate, but guys, we're in some NVDA here, and it's starting to work out a little bit. We're going to look to see if we can continue this primary trend. We're up about 1.8, 1.9% on the session. Having this primary trend intact, as you can see, we are forming higher lows, which is a good sign. So if we can hold this trend line, then that'll be absolutely fantastic. And we're going to continue. We might need a flat top break here, Sharif, in order for us to continue to the northeast side. But as of right now, we're just kind of chopping around a bit, my friend. What are you cooking
Your
up over
friend
there?
Donald John Trump is back on the Donald John pump train. Shout out to Adara, who came up with that term. And she saw it. She wrote it in the chat there. So here we go. Now, Joe, what was that level we were talking about on DJT again?
Oh, my days.
Just remind me quickly. Was it 33?
Was it 33?
Hold on, Joe. Let me bring in the chart. Let's just make sure we're good there.
Take a second look just to be sure.
Just make a quick look here, Joe. Just make sure, everything's on the up and up. Oh, 32.92. So I didn't quite get it right, but you get what I'm saying there. There we go, the 10 exponential hold, the $30 hold, but we're not at a dodge yet, guys. Putting in a hammer candle now, but it is still red. It's a good bounce up off that level, and what that means to me is that other people were looking at that 10 exponential. Other people were looking at that 33. And if people are still looking at it, then I like that look. I like that because, well, that means we're still looking for the long side here. Now, who knows? I mean, we could definitely tank, but I like this. I want to see what the next green candle brings. That's with still in 2 minutes or so. Do we make a new 5-minute candle? We'll make a new high. Like, do we print anything about 33.50? Because the high of this candle right now is 33.47. So I'll be waiting for this candle to close. This candle's kind of done its job. If the next candle does make a new high, then I'll punch back in eventually, or sorry, with the idea that we take out that 34.25 HOD that we put in not that long ago. So DJT certainly running up. Let's have a look at its friend Funware, because Funware and DJT have been linked in the past. So let's find out if these bad boys are moving. Over here, PHUN is what I'm talking about. So Funware's been running, but it also took a bit of a pullback here, just like DJT did. So it's green on the day. There is an interesting area of support that Funware is finding support at that 680 level. Well, lo and behold, we had an area crest there at 680 at 11 or 10 after the hour. So that was a hot minute ago, but now we come back in, test 680. We're not exactly flying above it or anything, but we're above that level. So for now, it's held. So let's keep an eye here on Funware. Funware only up 1.78, far underperforming DJT, which is up 9 1/3. Adara, though, does have something for us at the big desk.
For Money Talks, we're really going to quickly talk here about how apparently Ethereum talks. I'm seeing a little bit of circulation here on social media of this post from 2 hours ago saying that the State of Michigan Retirement Fund is apparently the first pension fund to hold Ethereum ETFs. They actually have more Ethereum exposure than they have Bitcoin exposure. So this filing here showing that there is now a retirement fund in Michigan holding some Ethereum ETFs, the first pension to do so. So keep an eye on ETH, could potentially be moving around with that. Now we're going to head into that DXY and I have the monthly chart up because look at this monthly candle in October. We have a bullish engulfing candle here, engulfing not just all of September's price action for the DXY, but also almost all of August. So this is an almost 2-month bullish engulfing candle here for that UX dollar. Today, it looks like we're slightly positive here thus far for the month of November, but it's only been 2 days of trading for the month of November for the DXY. Now we know what the main catalyst is going to be here this week. It's going to be the FOMC decision coming on Thursday. It's actually usually a Wednesday, but it's going to be Thursday, November 7th. The rate decision coming at 2 p.m. Then at 2:30 p.m. we'll have comments from Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Now this is going to be pretty significant because they actually had that surprise 50 basis point rate cut coming through on last meeting there, September 18th, 2024. It actually had one member, Michelle Bowman, dissenting. So let's see if we get any consensus coming from the Fed in this most recent meeting. There's about a 99.8% chance, that is being factored in there of a 25 basis point cut. So a lot more consensus coming this time than what we saw last time heading into the meeting. So let's see what we get from the Fed at this most recent decision. Could be a pretty interesting one. Market and DXY on watch for Thursday, guys.
Yep, thank you, Adara, as always, spitting the facts that we need. Darius, just to go on about your AMD put, I mean, don't get too overly optimistic about something. I mean, if it starts to work out, you still want to keep that composure a little bit and act like maybe you've done it before. I remember my hockey coach always used to say to me, Joe, relax a little bit when you'd score, act like you'd done it before, you know what I mean? So just, I know you know what you're doing, so just, I don't know what's going to happen with AMD. Again, sitting around 141 bucks. And it has the inability to hold any levels, Darius. The thing is really weak. I'll pull it up for you here and just my 2 cents on it, but I'm over it. I mean, this thing has the inability to hold any highs. Any high is from an intraday perspective is sold off. So can it continue to sell? I don't know what you paid for that contract. I know you say it expires this Friday, but just knowing what you paid for it will give me a lot better picture of your situation that you're in. But again, you need to close you needed to start closing below 140 within the next couple sessions or so, because like you said, it expires on Friday. So you bought it out the money, so it is only extrinsically valuable. You only had time value. There's no moneyness on it. So in order for it to become intrinsically valuable, you needed to start trading in the money. So you needed to go sub 140. Is it going to go sub 140 after selling? After 4 consecutive selling days? I don't know. I truly don't know. Are you all right over there? You good?
I tried to get in. I tried to get in. I chased it. I chased it. It still wouldn't let me in. Look at it.
Are you in right now?
No.
Oh, okay. You put the order out.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a missed out one there. That's all right, man. You had an absolute slapper on it earlier, so.
I think this one's going to go, Joe.
Yeah, I think so, too. So we'll pull up DJT, and then we're going to head over to Sharif shortly, because this thing is absolutely roaring to the top side. This thing is so strong, up 10.8%, 55 million shares traded on the day, recovering on the daily off of that all-time high there, or not all-time high, but the pivot high here at $58. So lost a lot of its value. So let's see what's going on. Sharif, show them what you got cooking up there.
Got nothing, man. I got nothing. I'm trying to work my way into DJT. We punched long at 55s. It just blew past our order, got into the 60s, waited in the 60s, thought, okay, maybe we get the retracement here. Hey, what retracement? We're on our way. It looks like the 34 right now, but being met with a bit of selling in the high 80s here, looking to ascend into the 90s, a bit of a seller at 87s now. That's it. Okay, well, we just took him out. So 34 is incoming. The high of the day, guys, just so you know, on Donald John Pump is 34.23. Even Neil's impressed with this. So, I mean, I can't blame him. Look at it. It's been running up a storm today. 28.88 LOD. I think we had, I don't know, I think we were negative in the pre-market. And as I look now, we were quite negative in the pre-market. In fact, the low of in the pre took us into 27 80s there, so not a good look. Now we're fighting with 34 Ram. We just took him out. 34 got taken out, but new shorts coming in or profit taking at the whole dollar level. Let's see if this one wants to go. Looks like it's going to be an HOD break over here. I'm punching, man. Whatever. Okay. Come what may here. Let's go. Let's zig and zag with this bad boy. 32 and change. We're going to have to give it to at least 75s, Joe. So that's going to be the look there. We're going to wait possibly at 10s. Let's see if we can take out the whole dollar level. DJT, all sorts of strength. What are you looking at, brother?
Yeah, I'm looking at DJT here too. I want to see if it's going to break this high day as well, because if that momentum continues in it, Sharif, which is it's kind of dying off a little bit and pulling back a little bit. So a little bit of a failed high of day break there on DJT. Yeah. But we want to see some momentum in that one. You had some really good trades on it already, but I think if we're going to break the high of day here, Sharif, we're going to need to see that volume step in and then momentum continue to that top side there. Someone in the chat, sorry, Real Trader, he says follow DJT and everything leading up into the election. So yeah, I don't disagree with that. But as of DJT being a market mover, that's a bit of a hot take. I mean, hey, we'll see what's going on. I wouldn't rule anything out, but is DJT going to lead the markets? I don't think so. But it is trading back up, Sharif. It is kind of pulling back in. So let's see if we can break the high day there. I think if it does break the high day, I'm going to go for a scalp on that one. But I have NVDA up here as well too. I'll pull this up, which isn't really working, but as long as we hold VWAP, then I'm going to stay in this trade. I'm not too overly heavy on it, because if it does start to work out and we break 138 and break this flat top here just above 138, then I'm going to add into this position and then look for the next potential target on that one, guys. So you can see that we had the 5-minute opening range, and it's identical to the Q's setup. We had this bottoming tail candle, this indecision candle, which can signal a potential turnaround on it. So we had the 5-minute opening range here. This candle put kind of isolated. The volume signature wasn't isolated, but then we get this strong momentum candle up here, right? So that's something to keep an eye on. And then we held VWAP, and then we made a leg higher. So that's something I'm going to keep my eyes on. Let's see if we can continue this topside movement. As of right now, I don't know. It's going to need some volume. AMD is selling a little bit. I'll see what Meta is up to, because I know it's been moving the markets as well too. So we'll keep an eye on that. It's still hovering around VWAP. Sorry, did you say something? You got to ad read? Yeah, we got to. Okay, yeah, brother. So we're going to do an ad read with Sharif, and then we'll get right back to it.
Absolutely. eSignal. It's a platform that lets you trade smarter, not harder. If you're ready, to upgrade to that elite trading experience, which will help you analyze, strategize, and hopefully you'll capitalize after that. So you'll be able to foresee those profitable opportunities with the platform that meets your needs. You get infinite data, you get instant trading, you get to know where the market is moving before others with that lightning fast execution and data. It's also got fantastic charts. Some people would say got charts that change the game. Will helps you or it allows you to customize and analyze the markets faster and in your way. Certainly better back testing. And we know a proper trading plan requires a sound back testing strategy so you can predict the future by understanding the past. You get reliable real-time data up to the second market info from hundreds of these global marketplaces. It's literally everything you need all in one place, so don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, if you're ready to elevate your trading, scan that QR code or check the link in the description. Yeah, it's a great time to do an ad read when we're doing we're trading Donald John Gang Trump up here. Let's go, baby. I love these ads that all right. That hide my position. We're long at 99s, guys. So now we're looking for that $0.25 break and take. Now we're at the fifth of a dollar. Donald John Pump is trying its best to break that high of the day. Seller at 20, big seller at 20 here. The high of the day is 23s. We do have someone selling up multiple storms at 20. Let's see if we can take them out. There they go. There they go. HOD, baby. We're printing, Joe. Let's go. Let's take out some at 30. Bang. Let's go again, baby. How much do we have left over here? Now we're going to have to be careful how much we take out. Let this one cook, Joe. We're going to wait at 43s because 44. Unlucky number.
I'll take a little scalp on it there.
Bang.
Pennies there. Boom. It's just
I like
higher day break. Yeah, because I said that. Right? I stick to the plan. I said I was going to take the higher day break, and sure enough, I did. Boom.
Guess what? We both printed on this one. We both printed on this one. There we go. So let's let this one run a little bit more. 47s HOD. I'm going to wait on the other side of 50s. Oh, I'm crazy.
Let's go.
But that's exactly what I'm going to do, Joe. And so we are waiting on the other side of 50s. Here come 50s. Now, I just saw 50. There was about, I don't know, I'd say about a few hundred lots. There it is, 50 again. There's about a few hundred lots there from what we can see, obviously, because we know there tends to be quite a bit of iceberg orders zigging and zagging on DJT. Down into a third of a dollar now. Happy with the way that we traded this today. Looking at weaseling in some more profits if possible here. Now, I don't usually DCA into my positions, you guys know. I usually just get stopped out and then get back in again. But I did like this one. So I did add at 33.80, and it seems to have been the right decision. We'll see if this one wants to continue to take out the high of the day. Right now, I see a topping tail. Sorry, an ugly inverse hammer candle coming in on the 5 right now. Really, really ugly on the 5. It's still got 4 more minutes till it closes, so we don't want to put too much stock into one candle, Joe. But yeah, coming down into 34 is DJT.
Yeah, that's a good one there, Sharif. And we almost got NVDA looking like it wants to break 138 here, but it's slowing down, pulling back a little bit. So there's a little bit of resistance around that level, but we are starting to pick up a little bit of momentum on the time and sales. And as you can see, the L2 is extremely strong. So we do have a ladder that can continue us higher and higher here. So that's something that you want to keep an eye out for. So I have the quote highlights on, and you can see that we have this ladder stacked all the way down to about 138.10s. So if we do get that, which is actually starting to move right now, and you can see the strength within the time and sales. So keep an eye out for that, guys. When you're looking to play a breakout trade, you need the volume to step in, and you want to see an imbalance on the L2 so you can build yourself a ladder and then have potential price targets. So that's one way you can look at level 2 as well too. DJT, yeah, I'm glad I just took that little scalp on it. I mean, it was nothing crazy. Yeah, it was just a couple. Money say something? Money G, no.
But I think he does.
Monty,
do you not like DJT? Because I remember there was a few people that didn't want to see DJT move. Were you celebrating when it was coming down?
Or what is it?
I'm not sure I understand, but.
Monty.
Yeah, shut up. It's okay, Monty.
It's all right, Monty. Yeah.
Monohar is just trolling the hell out of me here. I don't even know if he's trolling me or if he's being serious. Sharif, I think you need some app like e-shouting, which might help you to protect your vocal cords.
an app.
Are my
like
vocal
eShare.
cords not working?
No, I think they're working
They
just
okay?
fine. Yeah, they're working just fine, man. So
I'm like, are you trolling me, bro?
yeah, maybe,
He didn't respond. It either, if that bro troll me away, I could care less. We're having a good day today, Joe.
Yeah, so
everything's on the up and up.
Exactly. Everything's on the up and up.
The up and up.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's have a look at GSAC, because it's been a hot minute since we even looked at that one. We're still involved in that position. I've been waiting at 182. You know, we did get into 182, but we didn't cross. So now we're back at above 75. Yes, he's like, yes, and then it bounced. I know Monty doesn't like DJT. I respect that, Monty, man. Have at it, brother. We love you either way. You know, I have no affinity for DJT whatsoever, other than the fact that it is a stock to trade on the day. So that's just the way it is. We'll keep an eye out on it. No doubt about it. Now, TNYA, this one did stop me out, and I am negative on it, but I had the right idea. I just had poor execution with respect to my stop, because now we are working right back into that 2 3/4. I was of the opinion that once we broke that 265, that would be the line that we held up at. It wasn't even close, nor was it even 10 pennies close, because we worked down to 255. Forget about 265. So I think I got this one wrong. But if I had to do it all over again, I think I would still use that 265 level, because it's something that's worked for me in the past. It didn't work this time. TNYA seems to be awfully respectful of either the 10 or the 20, depending on whether it's trending or pulling back. When it's trending, the dips come into the 10. When it's pulling back, it looks as if the 20 is acting as support. And this one's a beauty. I mean, like, it's not the biggest mover on the day, but 40% with 33 million shares traded. It's near the highs. The only drawback, obviously, I could say about TNYA is at times, not all the time, at times, it's got a wide range per candle. That can affect stop placement, and it's kind of bamboozling sometimes. So we'll keep tabs on TNYA, obviously, if it wants to continue to run. There's about 16 minutes left on the show, so I don't really want to be involved with a new small cap gapper right now. We're already involved in Donald John Pump. Where are we long? We're long 79s. So we're printing 10s right now. I'd rather just get my print at around 55s. I'd like to be able to hit the dollar on this, but we'll see. DJT still near highs, 11 2/3, Joe.
Yeah, good stuff, Shreve. We're getting that 138 break on NVDA, which we were looking for. So the volume started to step in, and as I mentioned before, we had that ladder on the L2 on the ask, as you can see. So sitting all the way up to around 138.20s now. So let's see if we can get those fills around there. But I didn't add, so that's one thing that I want to point out, is that I did not add when I said I was going to. So I am not overly sized on this position, but that is okay, because we're just going to stick with the momentum. The Qs are now positive on the session. The SPY is now positive on the session. So that is something to look out for. The market is starting to pick up that 2 o'clock steam, right? So all the boys from the street, Wall Street, are now back from lunch and are now starting to put their money into the equities. So there we go, Sharif. 138.22 there, as I mentioned. Yeah, on the L2, we've seen those asks, so that's what we were chasing for. So let's see if we can continue. The ladder continues to build all the way up to 138.30. So we're going to continue to hold till there. So guys, that's why you got to put these quote highlights on. You can see the imbalance on the level 2. This can also give you somewhat of a direction of where the stock is going to go and potential price targets, guys. So keep an eye out for this. All right, so this is why it's really important to have those quote highlights. Yeah, Monty G, it's good stuff over here, man. We're having fun. The Qs are steady roaring. I'm not pulling up the TQQs because I don't want to look at that chart. So, but we're going to tell you, yeah, we're going to continue to talk.
You're not on your own.
So, yeah, so Meta, or as Darren Shreve like to say, spreader is continuing.
Hey.
Yeah, it's moving up, not just about 0.5% on the day. It is awfully spready-ish, so 20-cent spread on that one.
Donald.
Come on, Donald. I'm waiting for, let's go. John Pump.
I think the Katina man loves
Donald,
that, eh? All right.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner. Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna look at that, guys.
Rick.
Rick.
The Steiner brothers.
The Steiner brothers, man. Big Papa Pumper. Boom, 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 boom. It's crazy how every time he flexed, his bicep got like a little bigger.
Bro,
I like the mesh cage that he had on
mesh
too.
cage was the best,
It's
bro, on his
absolutely
head.
insane. So that guy's
wearing chainmail. Your what? Ram? Your math? What does that mean?
It's like Scott Steiner. What does that mean?
Hold on. How's your math? Like, okay, I'd love
to
to
get big.
see this.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Can we show the people the video, Ram?
Or no.
They will know what it is. Okay.
It's the new world order.
I need to Google that. Scott Steiner math. Is that like girl math?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't understand. Is this like a TikTok thing? Okay, it's not. Guys, we're at near the highs here. We're about 10 pennies from the highs. There's a monster seller at 40s, Ram on DJT. That's 3 times. Here it is again. 40s on DJT, not being able to take him out. It's an iceberg, obviously, because there's really not enough posted on the book right now to prevent us from ascending. Here we go. We're still rejecting at 40s on Donald John Trump. We know 50s are HOD. 40s got taken out. I'm waiting on the north side of 50s, but it looks like people are profit taking or instituting new shorts at this level. So there's a bit of a tug of war happening right now between buyers and sellers at this $0.50. It's a bit of a range, guys. 2/3 of a dollar to 1/3 of a dollar here in 34s. As you see, we're finding support at the third, and then we obviously found rejections at the half. Sorry, not 2/3, 1/3 to a half. A bit of a tug of war between buyers and sellers at this level. Now it looks like buyers are stepping in at the third. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff happening right now on DJT. Sad I didn't get the print on the north side of 50. Back down into the $0.25 we go. But we're still above the whole dollar. We're still putting in higher lows and higher highs on every successive candle. So I'm still optimistic that we can be able to take out that $0.50 HOD on DJT, 12.17% right now. What's the volume on this monster, man? We've done almost 73 million shares, dude, and we still have almost 3 hours left to go on. Yeah. 2 hours, excuse me, left to go down into 34. Wow, that was a big sell on Donald John dump.
That was the Scott Steiner math.
Whoo, that's what it is, eh?
Yeah, very.
I like that. But look how it popped back into the 1/5 of a dollar, $0.25 of a dollar, Joe. This thing's super volatile right now. Pack your patience and make sure you have sound stop placement. Otherwise, you're going to get cut up on this in the way that I got cut up on Tesla earlier by placing my stops far too close and far too conservatively. So right now, we've got a symphony of higher lows, but we are finding a bit of resistance, at the whole dollar level. Shout out to Jay Lee. There is a YT video, Scott Steiner math, promo sacrifice, 2000 actual footage if you're interested. I'm copying and pasting that. Ram, you got that? Okay, I appreciate that. Ram's gonna special delivery. Do you remember that by G-Dub, special delivery?
No.
What?
G-Dub?
Oh yeah, special delivery. Special delivery, but it's kind
Sounds
of
like the Beastie Boys kind
well,
of.
I think Diddy was probably producing that song.
Oh,
It
yeah?
might not be in vogue anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We'll see,
Like
we'll see.
not everybody that had an association with Ditsters, should like be canceled. But yeah, Ditsters is some trouble.
I don't know if he's getting out.
It's a tough look there, bro. They might have to put him with R. Kelly. Katina Man's laughing. He's like, he's not getting out, bro.
He ain't getting out, eh?
They're going to put him with R. Kelly, man.
All
right.
Those concerts are going to be hot, though, in the like R. Kelly. And that's absolutely insane.
Oh, boy. Wow. People are laughing. We're having a good time, guys. It's Monday. I'm still, hungover from fatigue. Not that I barely drink anymore. I'm just hungover from fatigue on the weekend. So I'm kind of just, shout out to Adara who knows what I'm talking about. She suffers the same thing. Not that I'm happy about that or anything, Adara, but it's Misery Loves Company. I'm sure you've heard that before. All right, guys, we're now the same seller has moved down a skosh, Joe. It's like they're moving down from the 40s into the 30s. Here we go with the 40s again. Ram. Again on DJT, I've been waiting to get this print, but there is a monster seller at 40s again. I think we take him out, though. I just don't think that they're going to be able to hang because we keep putting in higher lows. So we're going to have to pack our patience as to when we get filled, but we're definitely looking at taking out that seller, Joe, at 40.
Ooh, beautiful stuff. Yeah, Sharif, as you can see, we still have a really strong ladder here on NVDA. So my eyes are locked on this one. I like to see this. This is where we have an imbalance on the L2. As you can see, there are more orders higher on the ask, right? So this is something that I'm keeping an eye out for. So if you want to see if this is bullish or bearish, right? So as you can see, we have the ask stacked up all the way now to around 138.30s, as I mentioned before. So let's see if we can go back and tap those levels. And if we break that, all these orders get filled, and then we can take a next leg up to 138.50, I'm thinking there, guys. But we're going to need the overall market to join us on this one. But as of right now, nothing else matters except for Donald John Trump, because that thing is still going higher and higher and higher. And it's like, how much higher can we go? I don't know. Have we put in a potential triple top here, Sharif? I'm not sure.
Good
One,
question,
two,
bro.
3 touches. I mean, we're going to need some momentum in this stock in order for it to continue higher. But as of right now, we have the 1, 2, and 3 touches. So that is the look there on Donald John Trump, because Sharif has been putting on an absolute monstrous day on it.
It's
so
not bad.
Yeah, no, it was good trades on it, and you took it when you were supposed to. But that's it. That you got to punch those trades, and you got to get in when you're supposed to get onto those trades. So, and Darius, I know you're talking about AMD. Darius, man, it's a tough one for me. I'm not the biggest fan of Lisa right now and AMD. So again, that one's on you, my friend, to see what you want to do with that. I don't know how much you paid for the contracts, but if you're willing to take the hit, then take it. But if it continues to move to the south side, then you're going to be looking good. But you said your break even's around $37, so you do need a substantial move. You need it to drop $4 in the week, $4+ in the week, in order to even turn somewhat of a profit there. So just look, I don't know if you want to sell some puts against it and collect some premium, because you are only a week out, which could mitigate that loss a little bit, something that I had to do to the long side on this, and which is really unfortunate, because it was, the contract was hefty, and I paid quite a bit for it. So, and to take that loss, it's not fun, but it's, again, as someone say, it's part of the game. So just manage those risks. I'm in it for another day. I'm going to wait and see if the trade potentially sets up again. But as of right now, it's not going to set up in any time in the near future. At $141, and I'm looking to play a gap fill at 171. Jesus, okay, whoa. Okay, over to Sharif. Wow, that's insane.
Go, Donald, go. All right, we're gonna put it at exactly 77s over here. Look, we'll just put it there. I mean, it's a random number. It would be the dollar winner. That's the only reason I'm putting it there, Katina, man. So here we go. We took out that seller. 70 HOD on Donald John Pump. We'll see if we can take him out. I'm waiting at 77s. Only reason is I'm long at 79s. No other reason. It's not a technical reason over here, but we blew through the seller at 40s. You could just tell the higher lows was the operative thing here, but you're going to have to deal with the volatility, because there's going to be profit taking literally at every level as people are intraday trading this. So 70s HOD, now we're printing 62s. Let's see if we can ascend a little bit more. 13 and a fifth right now on Donald John Pump. Here we go as we try to get back into 69s again. But yeah, true to form, Joe, we're going to have to wait. So maybe we can get a little excited over here. Here it comes. Let's go, bro. Let's go.
Hey.
Let's go. Now we're printing 70s, but again, didn't get crossed. Now 70s again showing up. All right. Yeah, didn't get crossed there. It said it did. It said it went to 89. So I don't understand how I'm waiting at 89. I'm waiting at 77. The HOD is 89, and I don't get printed. Like, I'm not asking for too much over here. So we're gonna pack our patience. Yeah, it's okay. I didn't even get partial on that. So I'm gonna pack my patience. We're printing 69s. Let this thing go up organically. Here comes 70s again. Someone's selling at 70s though. Generally, you can just see that. Okay, well that's not really surprising, Joe. I mean, we've seen the resistance level literally at every 10 penny increments. It was 40s, and it was 50s, and we didn't hang out too much at 60s, but we're doing the dance right now at 70s.
But it punched through 3440s with steam and momentum. So
it did, bro. It did.
Yeah.
So good move up for DJT, guys. It's still going. We could see 35. Again, here we go. Low 70s, Joe, and I'm still not getting the print at 77s. So I've been really itching to flatten out the key, but I don't want you telling me to work on my grip strength anymore. So I'm going to let this one print.
It doesn't work like that. We determine when we say you can work on the grip strength.
No, I don't want you telling me, like, if I flatten out here,
okay, all right. But this one
took it out early.
All
you know what I'm saying? So that's exactly why I've been holding on to this last little piece over here. Here we go, 75s, Joe. Can we cross? Here we go, and boom, we're gonna drop the cash there. Good day on Donald John Trump. We're working our way into 35s, ladies and gents. 34.89 is the technical high a day, but we're having a whole lot of trouble right now with that 75 penny area. It's been a good day for DJT. I hope everybody's having a good time with Joe and I. I think you know, we try to have a good time over here. The Bash Brothers, everybody's
The Bash
telling us
Brothers,
in
I like
the
it,
chat,
man.
right?
I
So
like it. So
that's a look
good
there.
one. Yeah.
Any final thoughts as we wind down?
Yeah,
What's left?
just a quick, we're just going to go over the overall sector performance, guys. We have energy leading at 1.54%, real estate in second place at up 6.67%, and then technology sector at 0.39%, and then materials just below that, and then going into the reds, we got communications, consumer, health, finance, and utilities, guys. So the top 3 sectors today, energy, real estate, and technology. That is my final thoughts.
Adara's got something for us at the big desk.
Just be aware here of PACS, PAX Group here. This one was initially hit with a short report around 12:53 p.m. Down at its lows around 38%, and actually at one point holds it to the downside right around here at 127. Now we have a nice recovery with volume. So PACS looking like it's trying to have a bit of a reversion of the reversion after this short report here with a 7.65% short float, 75.5% insider owned, guys.
Thank you for that, Adara. Yeah, as Adara was dropping said hotlines, you know what happened. We got the 35 touch and drop on Donald John Pump. We're up 14 to third right now. I'm sure the big kahunas are going to be looking at this because this is all the rave. 35 again. There's about a little bit less than 1,000 lots from what I can see at 35, but it's zigging and zagging right now. Obviously, likely a lot more hidden orders. It's getting blown through, Joe. Wow, DJT, it's back, baby. Got so excited, my poppy fell off, and so look at that. That's not good. No. It's not good at all, Joe. That's all right. So, but a minute left on the show. I hope everybody had a fantastic time with us today. It's going to be Joe and I again tomorrow. We're going to be continuing our talk on earnings, and then Joe will have his lesson on Thursday, hopefully about options. I know all the options traders super hyped about that. They wait for that Thursday lesson. And then Satea will drop her lesson of the day on Friday. So make sure you're joining us every day because every day there's going to be a lesson right at the top. And then we're going to be trading just like we always do. So we hope you had a great time with us today. Lots to talk about. The market recovered, DJT going. There's a few small cap gappers that were going as well. Let's finish off here with a quick look at the mag. Ram to have a look at what they're doing. The dead one, Apple, just printed the high a day. What's going on there? So interesting look there on Apple, but it is 2 o'clock, so let the actual real traders cover these Mag 7 for you guys. No, that was a dig at us, but it's all good.
That was a little bit
it's
of a dig.
Okay.
Like,
we're kind of talking about both of us there, but yeah, should have just talked about myself.
Whoa, yeah, that one there. Fail stamp.
All right, guys. Joe
Good
and I
luck,
will
brother.
see you guys tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Let's go.
Get it, big kahunas.
Thank you, everybody. And I had to look